Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we are going to do two very exciting live streams. The first one is what we are doing right here, and that's going to take us from Hong Kong to Ho Chi Minh City. A nice 2-hour ride across Asia. A lot of my Asian friends over here have asked me over the time if I could do some flights in Asia, and so, well, here we are, right in it. Also, we're going to ride the 787 once more. I believe it is actually my first live stream with it, if I'm not totally mistaken. And I'm sure this is going to turn out into quite an exciting day. After that, at about 14:45 UTC, we are looking into a second VATSIM event today, which is going to be in Greece, island hopping, and for that we are going to use the ATR. So, overall, this promises to become quite an exciting VATSIM day today. And hello to the chat as well. Hello Robin, nice to see you here. And hi to my Polish friend as well. At some point I really need to learn how to pronounce your name. My apologies for that. Okay, so we are basically sitting here on the apron in Hong Kong. It is quite late here already, so if we're looking around, the sun is slowly approaching the horizon already, and I have a feeling that we are going to land either in dusk or maybe even in the dark already. However, for the beginning, let's start with a little walk around across our lovely 787. The livery I'm using is a freeware that I found on flightsim.to, and it seems to be looking really good, with a couple minor issues, but nothing that's going to prevent us from flying today. Also, one thing to note over here is the registration of the aircraft. It's quite interesting. They have Victor November Dash Alpha 873, so that little dash over there is something that I'm seeing for the first time in an aircraft registration, with a letter coming after that. However, I'm sure some of you are going to know some other countries that have stuff like this as well. So, quick little walk around to get into the right mood for our Boeing 787. And in the meantime, as we are about to reach the other side, I want to show you something interesting that I found the other day about that 787. And that interesting thing there is what we can find in the cabin. Because you will see that, going inside, there are these two little boxes over here, where they actually have a detailed window section, which they use for the wing view. So you have this lovely little wing view over there, but then when you go outside of the of that little section, then that is what it looks like. Quite interesting there, certainly part of the frame rate saving measures that they employed in this aircraft, but it does work quite well, because the wing views are looking good, you can do some nice videos on them, but apart from that, the airplane really looks good and performs good as well. So that should be our little walk around there, so how about we go right back into the cockpit and actually get the airplane flying. By the way, some of you may be wondering, on the top right there I got a little bar up. I'm currently saving for an RTX 4090 because, as you can see, my performance is slowly degrading into the levels where I get to see more and more micro stutters. So that is something I want to work on. If you want to support that, then if I do a good landing later on, I would be very happy for some support. In any case, that is going to be this part, so let's bring up SimToolkit Pro. And let's go ahead and have a look into our flight plan today. So, I definitely got too many windows open at the same time right now. Here we go. SimToolkit Pro, and that is what we are going to do. We are going from Hong Kong towards Ho Chi Minh, which, interestingly enough, still has the IATA code of the former name of the city, Saigon, but that certainly is not something anymore. So, just to have that mentioned. Apart from that, we have quite a high zero fuel weight today, and if we look into the load sheet, you can see why that is. We got 387 passengers on this flight today, so we are pretty full. Okay, from that back to the OFP, however, and 17.1 tons is the forecast. And if we go down a little bit further, have a look at the weather. We've got a couple of SIGMATs here, which basically is TOPS FLATL 460 embedded thunderstorms. And then over China, we got embedded thunderstorms forecast FLATL 500 as well. So that's something that we'll take into account. Our destination, Ho Chi Minh, has got excellent weather though. However, the forecast looking at this is today, but only until 10 UTC thunderstorms, so that is over by now, and we should be all good. Our alternate as well, in the evening UTC we're going to get some heavy showers of rain and some CBs, but apart from that, the weather seems to be looking good. So due to the en route SIGMET, we're going to take a tiny bit more fuel just in case we need to do some deviations around the weather. And also, it is my first VATSIM event flying in Asia. I have absolutely no idea of how much that is going to be, so how much traffic and so on. So let's just about take a little bit extra here, 15 minutes on top, and maybe 5 minutes en route, so 25 minutes, give me 2 tons extra. So we're going to load up 19 tons, and that should be more than sufficient for our flight. Okay, so 19 tons of fuel, and the payload we're gonna do in a moment. So let's get rid of Sim Toolkit once again, and then start loading up our airplane. Weight and balance. So we need 19 tons, gonna switch that to kilos. That means nothing in the center, and then give me 9,500 per side. Like that. Okay, so 9,500, and then we go down into SimBrief. And obviously it just locked me off. That had to happen. Well, doesn't matter. According Sim Toolkit, we are taking a payload today of 51.4 tons. That is quite a lot. It's really quite a lot. Here you go, 51.1, that shall be sufficient. Interesting that this tells me it's only 52% of load. I mean, how much do you want to cramp into an airplane like this? I guess I just don't want to know, really. So how about we head right back into our airplane and start setting it up. So, safety inspection then. We've got the engine start levers off, parking brake set, alternate flaps are off, landing gear lever down, weather radar, well, we can't even touch that over here. And the wipers are off, so how about we turn on the battery, turn on the external power. I know the after external power is normally not used here, but you know, if we have it, then we have it. So for that reason, I am simply going to use it. Okay, with all of that done, I suppose we start setting up the airplane. So IRSs can go on, and the rest of it we'll do a little bit later. For now, let's go ahead and start with our FMC setup. I'm using the Navigraph nav data over here. So just so you know, this is not the default Sims nav data. So, route, we are departing Hong Kong, and our destination is going to be VVTS, if I'm not totally mistaken, but I certainly seem to look at that. And my polar friend, does the payload include the fuel here? No, it doesn't. So this is really 51 tons of payload. Okay, then let's go ahead. I just quickly need my OFP on my iPad, and I don't know why it is, but obviously it had to delete some of that stuff once again. Just give me a second here. Yesterday evening SimBrief went offline, and well, when SimBrief went offline, it basically killed up my all my logins. So that's just about something that we have to fix again. But looks like I can't really do that, so for that reason, I'm just gonna help myself using Sim Toolkit Pro. A little bit of a pity there, but what can you do? Okay, so we are Hotel Victor November 595. As a flight number, we're going to depart Hong Kong, runway 07 right. Our routing is going to be via Pekan. So that's probably going to be the Pekan 1 Alpha arrival. We're going to load up the hub takeoff as well. Route next. So via Victor 1-2. Is it going to load it? Is it not going to load it? Apparently it isn't. That's interesting. Oh! That's not good. That's not good. Can we delete those things again? Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, from there on, Lima 642. Please tell me that you're working this time. Yes, it is. And then we're gonna fly that until Whiskey 15. Come on. Things have slowed down. Things have slowed down. We're gonna fly that until Patron. Like this. Okay, arrival. Probably gonna be runway 25 right over at Ho Chi Minh. And that's a lot of different arrivals available. I'm just gonna select the Zulu approach right now, assuming that things are different to what they are in Europe. I have no idea if that is actually the case, so we'll just about see about it. And we are supposed to have the Miami to Foxtrot arrival. Baomi to Foxtrot. Don't even seem to have that over here. Well, I don't care. I'm just gonna put in something for now, and then we can still fix that stuff in flight if we have to. Okay, reserves 4.9. Zero fuel weight we'll just take from here, and according to the plan, we initially go flat out 340, cost index 80, and the cruise CG will just about take right from here. Execute that. So, even though we are quite heavy in terms of payload, we are just at 205 tons, so that's 50 tons below the max takeoff weight. For that reason, I'm going to use takeoff 1 over here at maybe 40 degrees or so. That's just guesstimating. I don't have any performance tools for the 787, unfortunately. But it will work out somehow. Okay, so we're gonna do that stuff like this. Only transition altitude in Hong Kong is a little bit lower than it is in the US, where we flew 7 hours yesterday. So over in Hong Kong, we're looking at a transition of, I believe, 14,000. Loading up the charts as we speak, so just to be sure that we actually have the that we're on the same side here. And indeed, the transition altitude is 9,000 in Hong Kong. Okay, quick look into the next page, Optimum 367, so let's just pre-select level 360 as a cruise level already. We'll see how much traffic there will actually be, and that should be everything for us in the FMC. That done, we can go ahead and do the rest of the flight deck setup. So that's everything up here. Flight deck power on, emergency lights can become armed. On the, turn on the window heat. I don't know why those primary engine hydraulic pumps are off by default, they certainly shouldn't be. Okay, and that's our overhead scan complete. Let's move up to the MCP. Initial, I believe, is 5,000 over here. We'll check on that later on. And the runway heading is going to be 074. We go, 074. So, traffic display comes on. We are operating under hectopascals today, and the QNH is 1008. At least at the moment it is. 1008, and looking into the menu, we can bring up the stations. Like this. On the auto brake, 1008 on the standby altimeter as well. Then our colleague can obviously get some displays as well, so let's give the colleague these stations. Okay, nice. Moving down, not really a lot to do over here, but something that we can do already is listen to the HOTAS. That's gonna be a 12705. At least it should be. Interestingly enough, it is apparently not transferring that to vPilot. That's gonna be interesting. Let me just about try something. It is the first time I'm flying this... Actually, no, it's not. Let me see how COM1 works. Okay, interesting bug there. COM number 1 works, COM number 2 does apparently not transfer the frequency to vPilot. So we just about found a bug there. So we've got to do everything based on COM1 today. So that's going to be an interesting thing there. Well, if that is the case, then so be it. And it seems like the voice HOTAS isn't working anyway, so... That's fair enough, then I'm just going to read it out to you from the pilot client, and they don't actually seem to have any information in those HOTASes. Okay. Apparently it is the controllers who are messed up over here and not my system setup. Okay, at least you should be hearing ATC now.
Cathay 10A1, readback is correct. Contact Hong Kong ground on 122.55 when ready for push and start.
So I suppose before we start our briefing, since I'm not so familiar with the entire area in which we're flying over here, we'll just about go ahead and catch our IFR clearance already, so that we know approximately what to expect before we start briefing.
Air China 888, clear to Ho Chi Minh Council Mart via Patron 1 Alpha departure, runway 07 right, climb by the SIP 5,000 feet, squawk 5146. Departure information, Alpha is current.
Air China 8, correct to runway 07 right, Patron 1 Alpha departure, land VST 5,000, squawk 5146.
Air China 888, readback correct. Contact Hong Kong ground on 122.55 when ready for push and start.
Air China 8, when ready for push and start.
Hong Kong delivery, good evening. Vietnam Airlines 595, information Alpha, request clearance to Ho Chi Minh.
Vietnam Airlines 595, Hong Kong delivery, good evening. Travel 340 is not available. Are you able to travel 320 or travel 350?
Is flight level 360 available? Vietnam Airlines 595.
Vietnam Airlines 595, affirmative travel 360 is also available.
Roger, request 360, Vietnam 595.
Vietnam 595, Roger, cleared to Consonant Ho Chi Minh. Question, Ho Chi Minh Consonant via Patron 1 Alpha departure, number 07 right. Climb by the SIP 5,000 feet, squawk 5147. Departure information, Alpha is correct.
Vietnam Airlines 595, expecting flight level 360, cleared to Ho Chi Minh via Pecan 1 Alpha departure, runway 07 right, climb via the SID altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 5147, information Alpha on board.
Vietnam Airlines 595, readback correct. Contact Hong Kong ground on 122.55 when ready for push and start.
122.55, Vietnam Airlines 595. Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that's 5,000 feet as cleared, then 5147 is going to be our squawk. And we've got the Pecan 1 Alpha departure, which we have over here, runway 07 right, and Pecan 1 Alpha. Okay, let's go ahead with the departure briefing. Threats for the departure, we don't really have too much of them. It is going to be an airport that we're not so familiar with, and we'll closely follow along on the charts. And apart from that, we are simply going to take things slow as needed. Okay, so, for the route check, we are going from Victor Triple Hotel towards Victor Tango Sierra, we're the Hotel Victor November 595. The routing is Pecan 1 Alpha, Victor 12 Aptos, Lima 642 Sospa, Whiskey 15 VATSIM. It's going to be a left seat takeoff on runway 07 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure number 1, and the SID is going, and the initial climb 5,000. Emergencies are quite interesting over here. We are going to follow the SID and we will try to bring it out over the ocean, 3,000 feet in VMC. And if that happens, out to the ocean, holding over there, and then we can come back to Hong Kong. So, emergencies above 80 knots, I will only reject for fire or fire warning, engine failure, predictive wind warning, aircraft unable and safe to fly. If I call stop, I'll simultaneously close the thrust levers, disengage the auto throttle, apply maximum manual braking, or verify operation of the RTO auto brakes. I'll manually raise the speed brake lever and apply maximum manual braking, and when the aircraft comes to stop, I will set the parking brake. Now the first officer continues. If you call stop, I will note the brakes on speed and call speed brakes up, or speed brakes not up, and thruster is normal, or normal indications. For 100 knots, 80 knots, 6 knots, and the normal distance remaining. Verify your actions, call any emissions. I will call auto brake disarm and select flaps 30 when the parking brake has been set and advise ATC of the reject. We will then identify the failures and carry out any drills as appropriate. If we decide to evacuate the aircraft, we will do the evacuation checklist. Time permitting, we'll pull the CVRCB. If the call before we want to keep going, no actions below 400 feet except to cancel any warnings and raise the landing gear with a positive rate. 400 feet refer heading center, carry out the memory items. At the MFA, we're going to back up and track the flight schedules. Flash up, no lights, select global change, max 17 first, engage the automatics, non-normal checklist, normal checklist, and then we decide. So let's have a very quick look into the charts as well, so that you guys can see the same that I do. Obviously, during the entire taxi, departure, and so on, I am going to have my Navigraph charts open on the iPad. Unfortunately, you can't see that, so for that reason, let's quickly bring them up over here for the briefing as well. So our departure is going to be the Pecan 1 Alpha. We can pre-select that already, and we don't need the X-ray. Now let's have a look into our taxi. So we're parking over here. Pushback is going to be onto Bravo 7, and then taxi by Bravo 7, Whiskey, down to the south, Juliet, all the way, runway 07 right. Pecan 1 Alpha departure is going to be, and looking into the box, we have Pecan 1 Alpha. For the routing, we climb on the runway track towards Paw Park, minimum 205 knots, and maximum 220 knots until Ramen. So we've got 220 knots for Ramen over there. Below 5,000, so we've got the Paw Park below 5,000 in here. And then it's going to be a right-hand turn, Ramen, and then 187, 22.9 miles towards Bream, same track 6 miles towards Titan, and then same track 14 miles towards Pecan, and that's what we have over here. Initial climb clearance 5,000, further climb when obstructed by ATC, and speed max to 50 below 100 unless otherwise instructed, we have that in the FMC. And finally, ATC, aircraft must be approved with ICAO RMP1 standards, we have that. On first contact with Hong Kong departure, state call sign, current and cleared altitude. If PBN ceases to comply, notify ATC. If unable to follow track, advise ATC. Okay. In other words, no direct handover, we're going to get one from ATC. Okay. And that is basically the entire setup. So let's go ahead and read the pre-flight checklist. Emergency light switch is guard closed. Nav light switch on. Logo light switch off. Flight director switches on. Auto throttle arm switch on. Seatbelt selector on. Pre-flight checklist complete.
179 Roger, stand by for PTC.
Okay, I am going to use GSX over here because the 787 is much better in frame rates, but you can kind of see how it starts lagging when I select the GSX pushback, so that's really the reason why I avoided it yesterday the most. Starting up the APU, and then we can quickly say hello to the passengers as well. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and in the name of Vietnam Airlines, I would like to welcome you all aboard our flight 595, leading you to Ho Chi Minh City. Flight time today is about 2 hours, with a smooth ride at 36,000 feet. We would like to thank you very much for choosing to fly with us today. Hope that you are going to enjoy your stay on board. And if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our cabin crew. Finally, the cabin crew is shortly going to point out the safety features on board this Boeing 787-10 aircraft. We would like to ask you to pay your full attention, as that is not just for your own safety, but also for the safety of the passengers sitting around you. Thank you for your attention, and once again, welcome aboard. Alright, so let's go over to ground, 122.
Center 2316, clearance available.
Actually, 122.55.
Yes. Shadow traffic ready. Center 231.
Okay, cockpit to ground. Go ahead, please. Can we pressurize the hydraulics? Yes, sir, you can pressurize the hydraulics. Thank you. So APU is running, and you can disconnect the ground power.
Hong Kong 5, stand 1.
Okay, let's get clearance. Hong Kong ground, good evening. Vietnam Airlines 595, gate November 60, request pushback. This is quite nice, by the way. If you look at the VDGS, it reads your complete SIT and everything. Obviously, that stuff is coming from SimBrief, but and therefore is not adjusted by VATSIM controllers, but it's quite nice. Those things do that in real life as well, so just where's the controller?
Yeah, Hong Kong 641, contact Hong Kong Tower 11844. Bye.
Hong Kong ground, Vietnam Airlines 5905, request pushback, gate November 60.
Hong Kong ground, QD plane, start approved, push back, back.
Vietnam 5905, read you 2, please say again, you are breaking up a lot.
Push Vietnam 5905, stand by due to traffic.
Holding position, Vietnam 5905. Okay, that is something I can work with. And let's put the beacon off again.
Thank you, Tango Charlie, perspective.
Where is that traffic? Oh yeah, there's a guy pushing behind us. We've got to wait for him. Such a big airport, and obviously there's someone straight behind. Oh well, so be it.
Kilo 1 via Lima, Lima 1, 72 Tango Charlie.
And JFoot 709, when do the hydraulics get pressurized? Well, those parts of the hydraulics that are needed for the doors, which is basically the cargo doors, as you're asking, they are automatically pressurized by the airplane when the door selector is moved. But for the rest of it, most airlines on those long-haul aircraft, they pressurize them just prior to pushback. So you call the ground, like I did, and with that I don't mean the ATC, but you call the guy on the ground, and so your ramp agent, and you get your clearance to pressurize the hydraulics from him. And you basically do that in the before start procedure. And Marcel, there shouldn't be any thumbnail on the live stream of PMDG, or did I forget to remove my standard PMDG logo from it? If I forgot that, I do certainly have to apologize. The 787... There is no PMDG logo on it, I just checked it. The 787 we're flying is the Aircraft and Avionics Update 2 Beta. So, as you can see on the lower left of the banner of the live stream. And Duetran Bao, hello, Ho Chi Minh Tower, will control you on arrival. That's great, I'm looking forward to it, my friend. And yeah, the aircraft we are flying is the Aircraft and Avionics Update 2 Beta. Basically, as always this month. So, come on, that guy's more than far enough away. We can do a pushback. Can't even do 180 and go out over here. But I suppose, with all the communication problems that the ground controller had, we are just about going to wait until this guy's passed, and then we will ask again if we haven't gotten pushback clearance by that time. And pouring water, hi Manuel, are you planning to fly VFR sometimes? Well, I did some very rare VFR streams over here. They generally don't get much attention from people, so for that reason I'm not doing too much. To be honest, I find IFR flying a lot nicer, even in small aircraft I do. And Aqualator Dew, welcome to my home city. Thank you.
Good evening, ground, Vietnam Airlines 5904 at gate Delta 207, ready for push.
Okay, so what are we waiting for? Still that guy? Probably. Can't see anything. Okay. Alright, well, in the meantime, let's see if there is anything we can do off the before start checklist already. Probably not. Yeah, kinda. Okay, most certainly I can set my trim. 5.5 units. And then I can... 163 is what we have. Okay, before start checklist. Transponder panel. That is set. Takeoff speeds. 151, 156, 163. Set. Takeoff trim. 5.5 set. Altimeter.
sir.
1008, reading 30, set. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed.
Ground
Holding
is
at the beacon.
closed, I guess. According to VPilot, I don't see ground online for information.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, just heard him. He gave somebody push to start clearance. I guess he jumped off real quick. Tried tower. But thanks, appreciate it.
He's back already.
I guess ground is back. Ground, Vietnam 594, ready for push and start. Gate Delta 207.
Raymond Cha, 2 streams today. Yeah,
Air
that's the
Vietnam
plan.
594, ready for push and start.
Just hoping that this ground controller gets his act together.
594, push and start approved, push back color red.
Push and start approved. Push
Yeah, that
back
guy should
color
hopefully be
red.
taxiing any
Vietnam
moment.
594.
Because the more of those guys go in front of us, the more of them have to take off in front of us as well, so... J-Foot 709, Kai Tak in the 787 would be fun stream. Yeah, true, but we still have the old chart, but I flew that with the A310 and it was a mess because all those nav 8s were missing.
Vietnam 594.
Indonesia A734, push and start approved, push back color blue.
Consendo G16, request taxi.
Okay guys, I can only apologize for the delays here.
Bravo 8, Bravo,
Looks like the ground controller has some serious connection problems and yeah, that kind of kills everything.
Bravo 8, Bravo, full start whiskey, Jumbo traffic heavy.
562, taxi via Bravo 7, Hotel Bravo.
Bravo 7, Hotel Bravo, Vietnam 562.
Air China Today, press back to runway 09. Air China 888, taxi to holding point Julia 1 via Whiskey 2, Whiskey Hotel. Air China Today, taxi to holding point Juliet 1 via Whiskey 2, Whiskey and Hotel.
So, what's going on now? How are you?
595, Hong Kong from.
Vietnam 595, go ahead.
Vietnam 595, are you ready for pushback?
Yeah, we are fully ready.
Vietnam 595, roger, after the Vietnam A330 passing from your left side, push and start approved, pushback color red.
When clear of the company A330 from the left, push approved, color red, Vietnam 595. Okay, so let's hope that GSX knows about the colors. Copy of color red, that sounds like it. Okay, our push is approved, so the aircraft behind, the company behind, it's actually Vietnam Airlines, is clear. So, complete the before start checklist, beacon light switch on, before start checklist complete. So,
Request start upon stand, last control 9er.
come on GSX, you only had 20 minutes.
Number traffic, full start for whiskey.
Here we go.
Push start approved, last control 9er.
2316, you are on Bravo 8, so left turn join Bravo. Are you able to left turn join Bravo?
Okay, finally.
Left turn jump Bravo.
Spencer Bruce, regarding the comments above about modding the 787, what are the chances they will come to Xbox? The mods are not going to come to Xbox. Because Xbox just is marketplace only environment. So you are not going to get any of those on Xbox, I'm afraid.
Eva 9017 ready for push and start.
Eva 9017, stand by for push by the traffic.
Stand by Eva 9017.
Look at how bad the frame rates have gotten, just because of the GSX pushback. Really awful, isn't it? I really don't know what's wrong with GSX. The longer I have it, the worse it gets. Okay, we are behind the line, starting the engines.
Pendular 316, continue taxi via Bravo, Whiskey, Hotel Hotel.
And then 86, yeah, absolutely. You don't necessarily need any mods on Xbox. The plane is going to be great like it is. Like right now, we're flying it exclusively with a sound mod, and apart from that, no mods. And it really is a lot of fun to fly already.
Contact 369er, passage loading point Julia 1 via Tango Hotel. Tango Hotel, holding point Juliet 1, runway Jason right, contact 369.
Hong Kong ground, Cathay
Okay, that's two good starts.
Good evening, requesting pushing start for runway 07 right departure.
Cathay 10.
That means we can shut the APU, and for the rest of the stuff, we'll just about have to wait until GSX completes the pushback. They are using different pushback release points over here that are basically color-coded. For that reason, when he gave me the pushback clearance, he said pushback approved, color red, and that color red basically tells the pushback guys where to push us to. So you can see they're pushing us around the corner, and basically there was a release point 7 mentioned in the GSX clearance. I guess that's somewhere over there. Just my guess, but I don't know for sure.
Ground Air Vietnam 594, ready to taxi.
Vietnam 594, taxi via Unicorn 3, Victor, Hotel Hotel.
Taxi via Uniform 3, Victor, Hotel, Air Vietnam 594.
Yes, 888, contact Hong Kong Tower, 118.4 today.
Okay, parking brake set. Man, look at how bad the frame rate is with that GSX pushback. That's incredible.
Cathay 1081, Hong Kong ground.
101, go ahead, sir.
Okay, come on, GSX, I'm fed up.
1081 after the Vietnam A3.
Abort. Look at that! I killed GSX, and the frame rate is getting a lot better. Not perfect. The Navigraph charts were really a frame rate hog as well.
Color red. Call ready for taxi.
Okay, APU off, anti-ice auto, flaps 5, and then we can do the flight control track. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and the rudders.
Continue test the hotel,
Left,
holding point
right,
1.
and neutral.
To 27.
Okay, before taxi checklist. APU selector, off, auto brake selector, RTO, takeoff flaps, set, taxi light switch, going on in a moment.
Cathay 261, push and start, approved, pushback color red.
Vietnam Airlines 595, request taxi.
Vietnam 595, taxi via Bravo 7, Bravo, Whiskey, Hotel Hotel.
Bravo 7, Bravo Whiskey, hold short, Hotel, Vietnam 595. Okay, so that's basically going to be straight ahead initially. Then Bravo is the first to the left, Whiskey and hold short Hotel is in the south, okay. The lights are on. Taxi light switch on before taxi checklist complete. Let's go.
7854% start, approved, pushback color red.
Pushback color red, the curve 754, thank you.
Alias 7 request taxi to 07 right.
Alaska 179er, taxi to holding point Kilo 1 via Quebec 1 Kilo.
Okay, the right side is clear.
Taxi to holding
Funny
point
that they
Kilo
push us
1
back so
via
far.
Quebec
Keep in mind
1
our gate
Kilo.
was over here. They push us back so far, and now we just gotta taxi it back forward again.
5904, continue taxi via Victor Hotel to holding point Juliet.
We've got to be a little bit careful on the frequency here.
Victor
There
Hotel,
is
Juliet point
Vietnam
1,
594 on the
Vietnam
frequency,
594.
quite similar to our call sign, which is 595.
Indonesia 8734, continue taxi via Hotel to holding point
We've got to be careful with possible call sign confusion there.
Eva Nether 17 request push and start.
Got to be Bravo to the left then.
Eva 917, push and start, approve, push back color blue.
Yeah.
Push
This
and
is
start,
Bravo, you
approve,
can
push
see over
back
there as
color blue, Eva
Alpha.
Nether 17.
Hong Kong Ground Cathay 1901 to Pacific start.
Cafe 1901, Rockmore Charlie.
Here we go.
Summer Charlie. 1901.
369er, contact Hong Kong.
You can see I'm not familiar with the airport. For that reason, I'm taking the taxi rather slow here. Okay, next up he set into Whiskey and Whole Trot Hotel. The Whiskey is gonna be the second to the left, basically the first after the apron.
Cathay 1901.
So this gotta be Whiskey, yep, there's the sign.
Cafe 1901, push and start, approve, push back color blue.
Right side is clear.
Cathay 1901, Blue Star Blue Color Blue.
And this is definitely Whiskey.
Check.
Okay, so Whole Trot Hotel. Hotel is the parallel. Hotel is the perpendicular taxiway on the south of the terminals. So we can continue straight ahead, and then basically behind the towers we have to hold short.
From Real Moscow 319 stand X-ray 13 for push and start.
The tower really looks impressive here, doesn't it?
Vietnam 562, contact Hong Kong Tower, 118.4 today.
118.4 good day, Vietnam 562.
Send 316, contact Hong Kong Tower, 118.4 today.
Invalid M sheet doesn't even take that. Okay, so that's Victor 4 next, so we go
316, contact Hong Kong Tower.
across this and hold short of the next.
118.25 good action to 26 early. Singapore 06, requesting push and stop.
So that's going to be our next frequency as well.
46, push and start, approve, push back color blue.
And we hold short at the line over here.
Push and start, push back color blue.
Alaska 179er, contact Hong Kong Tower, 118.4 today.
So how much traffic is there?
Goodbye, left
Quite a bit, god darn it.
Vietnam 594, contact Hong Kong Tower, 118.4 today.
118.4 good day, 594.
Vietnam 595, holding short hotel.
Vietnam 595, continue taxi via hotel to holding point Juliet 1.
Continue by hotel to holding point Juliet 1, Vietnam 595. Okay, Juliet 1 is about at the end, so off we go.
Cafe 261, contact Hong Kong ground 121.6 today.
So the left is clear, the right is clear, hotel is the next to the right.
Contact Hong Kong Tower, 118.4 today.
Hong Kong ground, Cathay 121, ready for...
Okay,
Cafe,
so now it's going to be straight ahead.
Cathay 121.
Probably lots of heavies in the queue there, so we don't even need to taxi too fast. We are going to be standing around for a while anyway.
Contact ground 121.6. Cathay 131.
Singapore 6, taxi to holding point Kilo 1 via Lima 1 Kilo.
Taxi to holding point Kilo 1 via Lima 1 Kilo, Singapore 06.
Hong Kong ground, good evening, Cathay 131, ready for taxi, runway 27 right.
Cathay 1081, contact Hong Kong ground 121.6.
So let's see, how many aircraft are there in front? I count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4 aircraft, probably quite some heavies among them, since they're flying a lot of heavy aircraft, even on short routes here in Asia. So I suppose we're gonna wait for about 12 minutes or so. So I'm just going to take the taxi slowly. No need to go fast, only to wait later on. If there is one thing that I learned in aviation, it is really, you don't need to go fast, only to wait long. For that reason, I'm taking it, well, 20 knots. Really don't need any more. Now, luckily we are not flying Turkish Airlines, otherwise we would be going 5 knots all the way. But you guys get where this is going. By the way, for those of you who joined on yesterday's live stream in Houston, there has been an update over the evening, as Umberto promised in the chat below my stream, where he delivered a 4K ground image compared to the previous 2K. Now, I just had a very brief look at it yesterday, and it really looked good. Now, still not perfect, but it really looked good. So, if you've got Houston, make sure to update the scenery to the latest, and then go into the configurator where you can enable the 4K ground image.
Eva 917, request taxi, runway 07 right.
Eva 917, taxi via Hotel 7, Hotel Whiskey. Question,
Hotel
taxi via
7, Hotel
Hotel
Whiskey, Eva 917.
Eva 917, taxi via Hotel 7, Hotel Whiskey.
Hotel 7, Hotel Whiskey, Eva 917.
Okay, 3 aircraft in front of us, that is actually quite good. Could be much worse.
7854, taxi to runway 07 right.
Slowly but steadily, we are going the right direction.
7854, taxi to holding point Kilo 1 via Lima 2 Kilo.
But looks like there are aircraft coming from the south as well. Probably from the cargo gates that we have in Hong Kong over there.
Local 7854.
Singapore 6, contact Hong Kong Tower, 118 for today.
Over here basically is the cargo apron. 118.4, Vietnam 595, good day.
Vietnam 560.
Hong Kong Tower, Singapore 06, holding short on Kilo 1.
Singapore 06, Hotel, good evening, number 4 for departure.
Copy that.
Hong Kong Tower, good evening, Vietnam Airlines 595, ready for departure, able any intersection.
Vietnam 595, good evening, you can take Juliet 1 intersection, number 5 for departure.
Taxi Juliet 1, Vietnam Airlines 595. Okay, number 5, so probably gonna be like 3 minutes for every aircraft, since as far as I can see it's all heavy aircraft here. No, there is one medium. Oh no, and another one over there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, looks like we're in front of the Singapore. If we are number 5. So that is quite alright.
So that is 316 Hong Kong.
Clear for takeoff, runway 07 right.
And the guy in the runway didn't even hear his takeoff clearance. That's lovely. That's exactly what to do. Not.
Alaska 179 behind departing Air Asia X Airbus A330 runway 20.
Alaska? Maybe the small one.
Departing Airbus T20, line up and wait, runway 07 right, behind the red control.
What is the texture of the mountain doing there? That's not as it's supposed to be, is it? Let's stop it over here. We don't want to go into the jet blast of the Garuda A330 there.
Route 316,
Okay, stop. Brake set.
Now the 316 Hong Kong approach 119.1, bye-bye.
190.1, we can pre-tune that. Okay, so let's go ahead with the takeoff confirmation. It's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 07 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure number 1. And we can actually still pre-select that. Here we go, acceleration height 3000 for NADP 1. So, takeoff speeds 151, 156, 163, and we've got all of that set. The SID takes us straight out, climbing at 5,000 feet, and then a right-hand turn. Let's see, for the climb thrust we should have climb 2 pre-selected. Yes, we do, just to be sure that we don't shoot up too far. And I do expect that I'm going to hand fly a little bit until the flaps are retracted. And when the flaps are retracted, we will probably have to go vertical speed in order to reduce our rate of climb, since the 787 goes up so quickly. Apart from that, emergencies, we follow the SID and go out over the ocean. And when we're over the ocean, engage holding somewhere over there. Climb 3000, that's gonna keep us safe. There are a couple hills around in the area, but it's not too bad. Any questions? No, very good. So then, next guy coming down there. Okay, so we've just about got to wait a little bit. It's probably gonna be him and then us.
Number 6 departure.
At least if he sticks to his original schedule, because I have a feeling he's gonna try and get the Singapore in between. But we're gonna see about that. Not get too close here. Fix that. That's quite a bit of traffic, I have to say. I didn't expect that much on an event in Asia. Good to see that it's busier here than I thought it would be. Anybody else coming? Yeah, another 2 people. This, by the way, is the reason why you have a CDM in real life. Oh no. So 5 minutes delay per aircraft, that means 20 minutes. That's unbelievable. That's gonna be a very long wait, then it seems. Looks like I might actually have to delay my next live stream then, because we're not gonna make it. 2 hours flight, now sitting 20 minutes here. That's frustrating. That's really frustrating. That is really frustrating.
Hong Kong Tower, good evening. Cathay 161 Heavy with you at Hotel.
Cathay 1081 Hong Kong Tower, good evening. Number 8 for departure.
Number 8, Cathay 161.
My Polish friend, yeah, maybe they'll change the departure runway. That'd be amazing. And I just sent a message to the tower to ask him what the reason for the delay is. The reason is that there are people departing from Hong Kong Kai Tak, and the people departing from Kai Tak apparently are blocking us now.
Clear for takeoff runway 07 right, Vietnam 594.
So guys, it's not about the aircraft on the runway waiting, it is about people departing Kai Tak, where there is no ATC, because they don't cover the airport at the moment, and there are just so many people departing out of Kai Tak right now, who are then blocking the airway that we are supposed to join. And for that reason they're holding departures on this airport right now. And that's hilarious. Yeah, I am sure that I'm not in Zurich. In Zurich they would just change the runway now, that's right. And then have everyone else wait for an hour or so. Look at that, come on. Just close the damn Kai Tak. Or at least tell the guys to stay outside the event route. AMD formula. Now would be a good time for a PA. I do actually agree. Let's do one. Ladies and gentlemen, from Flight, this is your captain speaking. At the moment we are encountering a little bit of delay there because of the local traffic situation around Hong Kong. There's just a lot of departures that we have to await. However, we are negotiating with our traffic control to get out as soon as possible. We do expect a delay in the region of around 5 minutes at the very least. It might become a little bit more depending on the local traffic situation. Nonetheless, I do hope for your understanding. I will promise you that we're going to fly as fast as possible en route so that we can make up as much of the time as possible. Thank you very much for your understanding, and we will get back to you in cruise with the latest information on how our delay is progressing. Thank you for your understanding. Interesting, that one guy over there actually got the intersection. Hendrik 246, hi, nice to see you. Okay, so now he's taking the Singapore on the other side out. He doesn't even listen, nice. Maybe we can take his spot.
Singapore 06 behind departing Indonesia, Airbus A330 line runway 707 right behind.
Bronson C, are pilots allowed to fly faster or change cost index in an attempt to catch up some time? Well, in my former airline, no. In the new airline, I don't know yet. But in my former airline, that was strictly forbidden. If you do some calculations there, you are actually going to see why it was forbidden. The primary reason there was because you only make up a few minutes. Let's say you've got a 2-hour flight, you can make up maybe 5 minutes by flying faster at the maximum, but you're going to burn like 400 or 500 kilograms extra fuel in a 737. So that's going to be an extra cost of 500 euros to operating the flight for making up 5 minutes. That's just not worth it. That's just absolutely not worth it.
Number 678 for Moscow 319, copy.
Nonetheless, let's get the hot down. Let's also go into the hot view over there. Hot. That's a little bit very close, isn't it? A bit too close for my taste. Let's do it like that. My Polish friend, if an airline changes to a high cost index just because they're running a bit late, that is normally not going to make a lot of sense. You're just wasting money. And you're not gaining anything from it. That's probably...
595 behind departing Singapore 787, line up away 7 right behind.
And I'm 595 behind the departing Singapore, line up runway 07 right behind. Okay, good. Cabin crew, please take your seats for departure. Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. We are now getting our clearance to line up on the runway. More takeoff checklist. Flight controls, checked. VNAV climb page, definitely not. Engine anti-ice, auto, strobe light switch. On, landing light switch is on, transponder, TARA, before takeoff checklist complete.
Singapore 06, contact Hong Kong approach 119.1 per line.
119.1, see it.
Okay, then it can only be a matter of
595 100 degrees 6 knots, runway 07 right, clear for takeoff.
Then I'm 595 from 07 right, clear for takeoff. Okay, stabilized. Takeoff thrust.
61 behind departing Vietnam Airlines 1787 line runway 07 right behind.
Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. Knots. Correct. Okay, nice and careful on the rotation in order not to tail strike. You can see the line over there.
V1.
Great.
Hong Kong, hello, Vietnam Airlines 941 in sequence for Juliet 107 right.
Europe. All the freight.
Good evening, number 6, 941.
Okay.
Vietnam 595, contact Hong Kong approach 119.1.
100.1, Vietnam 555, bye-bye. Approach, good evening, Vietnam Airlines 595 Heavy 2100, climbing 5000, take on 1/2.
Vietnam 595 Hong Kong approach, good evening, identify climb to 8,000 feet.
Climb altitude 8,000 feet, Vietnam 5. Good, 8,000 checked. Accelerate. 205 is the minimum, we can go to 3. That.
Singapore 06, continue climb to flight level 110.
Continue climb to flight level 110.
We're going to keep the flaps at 1 since we have the 220 knots speed restriction. Okay, Papa, we need to cross below 5,000. But let's remove that. We are 0.5 miles before it, I don't care. We can continue the climb. However, we've got to be careful with our rate of climb here. Give me 3,000 feet. Vertical speed. Autopilot, 2,000 feet please. Here we go. Lovely view. And back there is Kaitak. That's it.
Indonesia 8734 on the radar 121.3 today. Vietnam 595, climb via SID flight level 160.
Vietnam Air 595, climb by SID, flight level 160. That 160 tracked, VNAV. So, climb by a SID, in other words, we gotta abide the speed restriction, so we've gotta maintain 220 knots until Ramen. So we're going to keep the flaps out a little bit longer.
Okay, 261 Hong Kong approach, good evening, identify climb to 7,000 feet.
Patron, new beta update releasing today or tomorrow. I didn't know that, but I'm really looking forward to it. Can only get better, really.
Okay, 345 from line, the
Okay, set standard.
I've approached runway 27 left.
Standard set, passing 94, climbing 160. We got the speed restriction until here, until Ramen. And the controller expressively set, climb by our SID. That means we really need to abide that speed restriction, and we cannot simply accelerate. Passing 100.
Okay, 261, climb via SID flight level 1.
I'm going to keep the passengers seated until the flaps are retracted, so that's gotta be alright the way it is. Bronson C, the ATC sounds exactly like a Hong Kong ATC. Yeah, from what I've heard. From what I've heard, that's really true. Look at how bad our rate of climb is, seeing that we still got the flaps out. It really has a huge impact there. Normally the plane would go like 3,000 feet a minute at least. 3,500 probably. Okay, 3,000 to go. Let's watch our vertical speeds. And we are finally passing... We're finally passing Ramen so that we can accelerate. Okay, here we go. Flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. Are we descending? We shouldn't. That's bad. So let the airplane accelerate all the way to 326 knots, and once we have accelerated, we can then once we have accelerated, we can release the passengers. In the meantime, let's read the after takeoff checklist, which is landing gear lever up, flaps up, wing anti-ice,
Vietnam 595 on the radar 121.3 today.
1.3, Vietnam 595, good day.
Hong Kong approach, good afternoon, Cargo 7854, climb to 505.
Radar, good evening, Vietnam Airlines 595 at flight level 139er, climbing 160.
Vietnam 595 Hong Kong, good evening, climb to flight level 360.
Flight level 360, Vietnam 595. That 360 is checked, and that's set 3 times, optimum 369, so we could request 380 as well. I suppose we're going to do that a little bit later in the climb. Okay, so looks like we are finally safely out. And it does look quite stable over here, so seatbelt signs can go off. Incredible to see how stable the air is. Basically no clouds, no nothing at the moment. If, you know, whenever I'm thinking of Hong Kong, I'm typically thinking that I am, you know, I'm typically thinking that I'm going to go into really bad weather, but nice to see that this is not necessarily the case. Okay, we don't need the clock anymore, we have the elapsed timer running down here, and that is pretty much that. So, off we go. Gonna be a nice 1 hour and 50 maybe, plus whatever delay we're going to get on the arrival. But we're finally en route. That is the important part over here, that we're not sticking around on any airport where we don't want to be sticking. So, MG King, is Hong Kong a possible destination at my new job? No, at the moment not. At the moment the easternmost destination they fly to is the Maldives, but I'm fairly sure that that is going to change. At least Bangkok, I'm very sure. Maybe Phuket as well, but we'll see. Time will tell. Andrew, does the 787 seem pitchy to me? Well, not really. You got to understand how the fly-by-wire in the system works, and then it really flies okay-ish. And Hendrik 246, since I am a PMDG team member, have I tried the 777 in P3D? Yes, I did. I actually tested it and advised them, and a lot of the fly-by-wire from them is based on some of my input. I don't want to say all, because there have been 2 777 pilots involved who did a really, really good job. Now, nonetheless, yes, I have tried the 777 in P3D, and I have quite liked it.
179, turn right
An AMD formula, have I ever flown a 787 in real life? Unfortunately not. The largest I've flown in real life is a it's an A330 200 or 300? Not 100% sure. Which one does Egypt Air operate? In any case, Egypt Air A330, that was the largest I've flown on in real life so far. And Hendrik, it's awesome, isn't it? Just got it in P3D. It's expensive though. Yeah, that's true. You know, the thing with long-haul aircraft and Flight Simulator is that they just don't sell as well as short-haul aircraft do. So the 737 is going to make a lot more money than a 777 is. Likewise, an A320 is going to make much more money than an A330 will. Because they're, you know, flight simmers like to fly in the sim what they've flown on in real life. And a lot more of them will have flown on a medium body aircraft, you know, on a single aisle aircraft, than on a larger aircraft. And yeah, then of course P3D is, you know, the number of possible customers you have in P3D is so much less than the number of possible customers in Microsoft Flight Simulator. For that reason, if you have the same effort in development, you simply need to price it higher. And Force 59 also, why would you stare at the screen for 8 hours straight on a long haul? Yeah, that's certainly part of the point here, that flight simmers enjoy regional aircraft the most actually, and routes in the region of about an hour or so. Personally, I like doing long haul in the Flight Simulator because I typically en route would be somewhere close by, you know, tidying up the room, doing the laundry, cooking and stuff like that. So that's what I would normally do in when I'm doing a long haul in Flight Simulator. Then of course, somebody pointed out yesterday my VATSIM hours I have, and it's quite a bit indeed. However, you know, I did most of my VATSIM hours while actually flying long haul and studying for my ATPL in the meantime, or studying for my type rating, studying for my recurrence simulators, all those things. You know, I would just take the Flight Simulator, load up a flight across the Atlantic, you name it, and then do something while I'm flying that. And that is how I got so many VATSIM hours, but that is also how I ended up, you know, doing long hauls in the Flight Simulator. Obviously though, I don't do many of them. It's maybe 1 or 2 a month maximum, absolute maximum. Indeed, in the last year I don't think I did, well, I did maybe 2 or 3 when the A310 came out to test its range. Then obviously I did the live stream from Cologne to Boston. That was quite interesting. But you know, that kind of stuff. And JFoot 709, you really don't need to be afraid of the radius in VATSIM. Pick an airport where there is not a lot going on, you know. Don't fly in the big events like I'm typically doing on my channel, but pick some small airport and then just go there and start practicing. And like we say in German, es ist noch kein Meister vom Himmel gefallen. No master ever fell from the sky, so you just gotta do a little bit of a practice, and then that's really how to do it. Also, VATSIM does run some newbie events, so that's called the First Wings events. I believe there is one per month where they're really focused on brand new guys, and believe me, you can just hop in there and you can really just hop in there and enjoy it. Okay. We're climbing only 1,200 feet in minute right now. That's a bit too little for me. Let's go full climb first. That should really give us a nice little boost. And then we got optimum 371 now. Let's see if level 380 is available. Vietnam Airlines 5905 request.
595, go ahead.
Vietnam 5905 is flight level 380 available.
And then 595, the next will be 390. Are you able to take that?
Stand by. No, that's too close. Vietnam 595 negative, unable 390.
595, roger, maintain level 360.
Roger, we stay at 360, Vietnam 595. Okay. Jedi 01, does the fix info page work? You can enter stuff, like for example, let's take our inbound waypoint and put that in, and you get the bearing and distance information, but you don't get any associated indications on the navigation display yet. So that is still work in progress to my understanding. I surely hope that they are going to do that for the final release version, but the way it is right now, that is what we have. It's slowly getting dark, let's turn up the lights. Oh, look at that, the master brightness is working now. Or at least it's movable. Let's see if that does anything. Oh. Oh, yes, it does. Okay. Cool, so the master brightness is simulated now. Is it actually covering the entire cockpit, or is it just the overhead? The entire cockpit, it seems. Cool. So, for those of you who are not aware how the master brightness system works there, basically with the light switches in the 12 o'clock position, like this, let's just make sure they all are. So with the light switches in the 12 o'clock position, the master brightness, when it is turned on, basically controls all the lights at the same time. You can kind of see that over here. Even though it seems like the position all the way to the left is a little bit too little, but it's cool that this is doing something now. When the beta first came out, it did nothing, so that gives me the hope that for the final release version they're actually going to do that stuff correctly. And 777 driver, hi, nice to see you. Hey, so I see a tweet earlier today asking pilots what our longest directs have been. Mine was 500 miles direct between two FAR boundaries. What about yours? Okay, longest direct. It's been something in the region of, I believe, 700 miles actually. That was during COVID, when we entered German airspace. No, actually we entered Maastricht airspace, coming from the UK, and we flew to somewhere in Latvia, so we got a direct through the entire German airspace and the entire Polish airspace to the FAR boundary. That were some 700 miles or so.
Oscar 179, roger. Refill notification, proceed direct APCAL.
And Big Johnson, which sound packs would I recommend for the 787? Well, I've just flown the FTSIM Plus, and it works quite well for me. Obviously, I don't know what a real 787 looks like, so I can only guess, but it does sound quite fine to me. It's entertaining, and after all, that is all that we can be looking for in our flight simulators.
Finnair 595, top climb to level 350.
Vietnam 5905, stop climb, flight level 350. Okay, why do we need to stop? Fan front. Vertical speed 1000.
Good evening, Hong Kong Center, Ivanhoe Center.
Want to go?
Passing flight level 240 for flight level 250.
Even on the 17 Hong Kong radar, good evening, climb to flight level 350, proceed direct inbound.
Direct inbound and climb and maintain flight level 350.
And 777 driver, wow, and I thought we were lucky that day. That's a monster for direct. ATC was very generous that day. Yeah, indeed.
Shuttle 131 Hong Kong radar, score 5256.
Well, you know, in Poland you're always getting those 350, 400 mile direct. That is normal in Poland. And then in Germany, yeah, they try. What's also good normally is when you're entering French airspace from the south, or rather from the south west, coming from the Canaries, they often give you direct to Paris, which is like 350, 400 miles-ish. That can be quite nice as well. And Metal Eye, hi, nice to see you. A319 or A321, about to purchase. 21. However, I'm not aware of any good A321 that is there for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Which one do you mean, Metal Eye? Which add-on do you mean there? And Olli 610, guten Tag aus Hannover. Tag. Hendrik 246, since you fly the MAX 8, does it also have a HOT? Oh, sorry. Does its HOT have a declutter like the 787? The Maxes that my airline flies do not have any head-up display installed at all.
Really good evening, Hong Kong.
So I haven't flown an actual head-up display. Ah, Metal Eye, the Tolus. Yeah, go for the 321.
Hong Kong radar, good evening, climb to flight level.
That's a more interesting plane to fly for sure. Flying a little bit lower, which is healthier. Then obviously flying a bit faster since it's heavier.
39684 firm.
So, now I'm wondering why we are stuck at 350. Any traffic behind us? No, just the guy in front of us. Where is he?
369 terrain, space 1 Unicom 122.8.
He climbing on top of us there?
Freedom 562 terrain, space 1 Unicom 122.8.
I don't know which kind of I don't know what kind of separation they need over here. Probably going to be different from what I'm used to in Europe. So it seems strange that those guys climb through my level, but they don't allow us to climb any higher.
KV 1 turn right in 195. Turn right head at 195, KV 1. Good evening, Matt.
Hendrik 246, yep, you name it. If it doesn't earn money, then I'm not interested.
Hong Kong radar, you can climb to flight level 1. Actually, maintain level 150 for now. Maintain 150 for now, Master 309.
And my Polish friend, I think the direct was what you found surprising on your first day at work, when you got direct 10-mile final on departure. Indeed. Well, my best so far is during the very early times of COVID. We departed my base in Germany, and passing 2,000 feet in the climb, we got a direct 10-mile final in London. Just imagine that. You're passing 2,000 feet in Germany in the climb after takeoff, and you're getting a direct to a 10-mile final in London, the busiest airspace in the world. That was such a strange feeling, but it really made you realize that something was wrong.
Hong Kong radar, hello, Vietnam Airlines 941 inbound Bremen, flight level 122.
And Seaweed FPS, do airline
Hong Kong
programs only give MCP rating, not ATPL. Well, MCP is a term that I only know in terms of the autopilot panel in Boeings.
Moscow 319er.
But basically, in order to get an ATPL, you need to have 1,500 flight hours. And you are not going to have those out of flight school. So, for that reason, you will probably, in no program, be able to get an ATPL straight out of flight school. What most flight schools get you is a frozen ATPL, which is basically a commercial pilot's license, but with the ATPL theory credit. And then when you reach 1,500 hours, you can do an additional check ride, and that is going to get you the ATPL. That's the way how it usually works. And Scott Morgan, only dialed in flight of 350. Yeah, that's correct. ATC told us to stop the climb. So we are currently stuck in 350. Still wondering if that is going to change, but I might just as well ask ATC when and if we can expect higher. Vietnam Airlines 595, when can we expect further climb?
Vietnam 595, are you able to have the 350 at final?
Yeah, we can accept 350 at final. We would be able for anything until level 380 if that's possible.
Yes, sir, the next one will be 390, so meaning for the 350 is final.
Roger, then 350 is final. Vietnam 595. That's interesting. I wonder why they do that. But okay. Then 350 is going to be final for now. But let's not fly that slow. Give me 86. We want to get there.
One return on navigation to the APCO.
So 570 nautical miles to go to the top of the descent. 12:03, which is in like an hour and 5 minutes. At least we're doing a good ground speed over here. 522 knots. I suppose that is fine. So, if 350 is going to be our cruising level, then we might do a couple of checks here indeed. So let's get out Sim Toolkit Pro, where we have our flight plan on. And first of all, by the way, good thing that we took extra fuel.
160 from airspace, 1.12.8.
So, let's quickly see that. The next FIR border is going to be at Epcal, where we're going to enter Chinese airspace, Sanya FIR. So let's put that into fixed page. Epcal, here it is. We have Epcal, and normally I would draw a little ring over there to raise attention. Now, that's not doing anything in the 787 quite yet, but I'm sure that they're going to update that. And then we'll enter Ho Chi Minh FIR at Exodo, so let's put that into the fixed page as well.
Moscow 319, climb to flight level 220.
Okay.
Climb flight level 220, Moscow 319.
So with that, we have our FIR boundaries marked. Do note that since we are going to pass through Chinese airspace, we will have to shift to metric flight levels by the time we get there. Also, top of climb was planned at 340 initially, then MBOC level 360. Mark 8.5 is what we've been planned at, so let's put that into the system as well. 0.85, and that is what we are doing now.
Carry 261 approved, report back.
Okay, then let's see, we're supposed to have taken 19 minutes to the top of climb and 13 tons of fuel. We took 2,000 more, so I would expect something around 15 tons. Now, it is a little bit later by now, it's 25 minutes into the flight, 26 now. I suppose we're just about going to do a fuel check over at Aptos, so looking at that, 28 minutes, 12 tons, so 14 what we expect. And look at that, we're doing 14.2 tons right now, so our fuel is looking quite good. Fuel consumption is what we would expect it to be. The flight time is looking good as well, so that is quite alright. Okay, so with that, it's about time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. By the way, if you're wondering for the further program for the day, we're going to fly this one over to Ho Chi Minh, and when that is done, I'll take a very small break, just a couple of minutes, and then we'll start a new live stream doing island hopping on the Greek islands. There is a lovely VATSIM event planned there today between Rhodos and Crete, Heraklion, and we're going to do that in the ATR. which I haven't flown in a while, so that's certainly going to be something interesting there as well. And my Polish friend, why would the Chinese still stick to the metric system? Well, the question is, why is everybody else sticking to the imperial system, really? Because the Chinese are correct in one point. That is, they say that they are using the international SI standard units, and those are metric. So, technically speaking, the entire world using... Technically speaking, the entire world here using imperial units is something that has established itself, but at least according to international science is not the standard that everybody should be doing. Quick thing there for us to check, by the way. EPCAL is going to be the boundary. We can basically bring the meters display up already.
Moscow 319, climb to flight level 360.
So that's the meters.
Moscow 319.
And then,
in
the upper flight levels, basically metric flight levels are what you have in feet plus 100.
Vietnam Airlines 941, reach squawk 5111.
Like this. 351 would be 10,700 meters, and that is where they want to see us in the Chinese airspace now. For now, obviously, we're going to maintain 350 since we're still in Hong Kong airspace, and in Hong Kong they are using the international standards and not the scientific standards as the Chinese are doing. And 777 driver. I actually used the PMDG 777 a lot for self-study during my typewriting on the 777. So if you tested the PMDG, you indirectly helped me get my 777 rating. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that.
KLM 05 Romeo, climb to level 310.
And Seaweed FPS, how did I reach 1,500 hours? I flew the 737. Maybe some clarification there in terms of what you get as right from flight school. So, with the CPL, with the ATPL theory credit that you get in flight school, you are already allowed to fly as first officer on airliners. You only need an ATPL in order to fly as captain on airliners. I don't remember where the exact limit is. I believe it's something around 5.7 tons of takeoff weight or so. Anything below that you're allowed to fly as a captain with a CPL as well, and above that you can only fly as a first officer with your CPL, and you will need an ATPL to fly as a captain. So the way my previous airline did it was to keep all the first officer on the CPL, because they would be, you know, more valuable on the market looking for other jobs if they had an ATPL. So they would keep everybody on the CPL, basically until you would do your command upgrade course, and until then you would simply fly as a first officer on the 737, and when they upgrade you to captain, that is the point where they are going to do the ATPL check for you and upgrade your license. That is how it worked in my old airline. Now, I know a lot of airlines, as soon as you have the 1,500 hours, they are simply going to use your next normal simulator check, which fulfills all the requirements for an ATPL check as well. And if you pass the simulator check, then you have also passed your ATPL check as soon as you have the 1,500 hours. And then they're simply going to upgrade your license. That's what a lot of airlines do. Unfortunately, my old airline didn't, so for that reason I never upgraded from CPL to ATPL. So I'm having a CPL at the moment as well.
Function 312 reset score 514.
And Photochromax, yeah, technically frozen ATPL doesn't exist. So that is a word that people brought up, you know, to make it sound better. But technically speaking, it's a CPL with ATPL theory credit. But there is no license called a frozen ATPL out there. So that is how that stuff works. A little annoying, but you know...
767, contact sign control on 120.5.
In the end, the license you have really doesn't matter. As long as you're...
594, contact sign control on 120.5 with squawk.
You know, as long as you're allowed to fly the plane that you're hired to fly, that's really all that counts. If you have an ATPL, if you have an ATPL, if you have a CPL, well, same.
What is your decimal flight? Confirm with the squawk for Vietnam Airlines 941?
Oh, let's bring up some lights.
For A-firm, he might have a different one for you.
Roger, thank you.
Hong Kong radar, good evening. Korean Air 475.
Okay.
Korean Air 475 Hong Kong radar.
The lights on the 787 are still something that I need to get a little used to. The dome light for some reason only seems to illuminate the overhead. That is probably not right. So I really don't expect the aircraft to work that way, but
Korean Air 475 identified.
I just hope the lights are something that they are still working on for a future update. Just like this, you need to turn up so many different lights, and then you get like we have right now.
5 Romeo climb for level 320.
Well, it's going to be fine like this. We can see everything we need to. Also, we can turn down the HOT a little bit. That starts getting a little bright. Oh, like this. Actually, we might have to take the master brightness off. Oh, interesting. It seems like they coupled the brightness of the heads-up display to the master brightness knob. I'm not sure if that is correct. 777 driver, do your airlines have a head-up display? Can you comment on that? And Photochrome X, is it true that your ATPL credits expire if you don't get 1,500 hours in 7 years? Well, that's a good question. To be honest, I cannot answer that. It might be true, I don't know. If it is true, then, you know, if you don't get 1,500 hours as a commercial pilot within 7 years, then something is wrong. Even when you're flying business jets or when you're flying cargo, you're typically doing like 300 hours a year, so it would take you 5 years to reach the 1,500.
Score 5250.
So I wouldn't be too worried about that. I really wouldn't be too worried. What I would be worried about is if your theory would actually expire and you would have to retake the theoretical exam. You know, they basically change the syllabus every couple of years. And a friend of mine is doing the ATPL right now, and he asked me a couple of those questions. And I was just like, what on earth are they asking? It seems like a lot of those theoretical questions are simply made up to confuse the pilot and not to check for actual knowledge, you know? Quite a couple of them you can actually answer by just looking at, okay, what is the worst sounding answer? And that is typically what's correct. Otherwise, use Charlie or the longest and you're gonna pass the exam. No, just joking, obviously, but Charlie or the longest is a good thing to start with in aviation. Regardless if you're doing a type rating, if you're doing an ATPL theory, whatever. Charlie or the longest. I guess any pilot can relate.
Control 120.5.
120.5, bye-bye, 594.
And Cafe 1, contact sign control 120.5.
Hendrik 246, which flight school did you go to? I'm really considering going to the European Flight Academy this year. Can you recommend it? Well, I didn't go to the European Flight Academy. That didn't exist at the time where I started. Back then it was still Lufthansa Flight School in Bremen. But I went to TFC Käufer in Essen, which is the school that does the training back then for Air Berlin and for Condor, for Aerologic, and so on. But the best thing for you is really to compare the different schools available. Now, European Flight Academy, the European Flight Academy has an interesting offer there, in that they refund half of the money that you pay for the training if they cannot offer you a job within 2 years in the Lufthansa group.
LFP2 identified.
So that is something that I would certainly take into consideration being you. However, you have to decide if those I believe 120,000 that they're asking is worth it when you can do the training at other schools
clear the FB3
for half the
Alpha
money,
arrival,
you know?
expect ILS runway 07 left, report ready for descent. Latitude confirm, copied FB3 Alpha arrival.
Okay, we're passing overhead Epcal, which is the boundary into China. Let's see if we're going to get a frequency change. I'm a little bit careful here at the moment with those frequency changes because, you know, I'm not too familiar flying in this airspace, but I...
595, contact fire control 120.5.
120.5, Vietnam 595, see you. Okay, 1205, here it is.
From Congress, identify, maintain file 360 and confirm your Mach number.
Okay, so we can put it to meters. We can go to 10,700.
When on 594, confirm your Mach number.
Or is it going into VNAV alt? That doesn't make much sense for me. Be VNAV speed. 351 is in. Interesting.
When on 594, sign your control.
Well, in that case, let's go vertical speed plus 100. Oh, that's an interesting speed target that just came up. 0.95.
Good evening, Honeycomb.
Ain't gonna do that.
600 meters.
Contact 922, good evening, sign control radar contact, calm and maintain 8,900 meters on standard.
Calm maintain 8,900 meters on standard, Honeycomb. Thank you.
Gunner control, good evening, Vietnam Airlines 5905 Heavy, flight level 10,700 meters.
15905, good evening, sign control, confirm squad number.
Borg 5147, Vietnam 5905.
15905, sign control radar identified, descent flight level 350 on navigation.
Confirm descent level 350 on navigation, Vietnam 5905.
15905, A1, the oceanic sectors operating the fleet altitude.
Roger, thank you very much. Flight level 350, Vietnam 5905. Okay, that's interesting. According to SimBrief, I should have been flying a metric level, but if he says the oceanic is operating on feet, then that is very nice. Okay, 350 is in, VNAV, and that's it. Nice, so we don't need to actually do all the metric stuff. So SimBrief is actually incorrect here, because SimBrief has filed me on a metric level on this segment over China, but if the controller says otherwise, then I most certainly am going to do what the controller says.
Contact 369, good evening, sign control, confirm squad number. 139, Contact 365,
interesting there as well.
320 on navigation.
Interesting actually that SimBrief is incorrect there. So, I'm going to send them a support ticket and ask them if they can change that.
562, confirm Mach number.
Because it's certainly going to be easier to fly over here in feet rather than flying in... Certainly going to be easier flying in feet rather than in meters. Not that it matters too much really, but you get the idea. So, earlier the controller said level 390 is available, but optimum is still 374, so... According to the flight crew training manual of the Boeing 787, flying 2,000 feet above the optimum uses as much fuel as flying 4,000 feet below the optimum. So for that reason I'm staying at 350 and not climbing to 390. It would be higher, but according to the flight crew training manual it would be using more fuel. For that reason we're staying down here.
Alaska 179 due to traffic, reduce Mach number decimal 8.
Use Mach number to decimal 8 LS control 9er.
And Photochrome X, maybe they are not Chinese controllers handling the oceanic airspace. I don't know, but he certainly sounds Chinese. By the way, isn't this looking totally lovely? This is really good, isn't it? That's where Microsoft Flight Simulator really shines. Absolutely love it. And 777 driver. Yeah, catch you later. Ciao. Also very nice that we can see the shadow of the Earth over here. That's something that looks so incredibly impressive in real life, but is something that we, you know, in earlier simulator versions never really could see. But if you look at this, the sun is basically down already, but since we are flying above the Earth's surface, there is still some rays of light going along the surface, and we can see that over here. Basically, over here, the Earth is putting a shadow over the sunlight, commonly also called night, and over here you can really see the night coming up. And honestly, this is just looking beautiful, isn't it? To be honest, it can be even more impressive in real life, but this is already really, really beautiful. And Remy Cha, what is the difference between VATSIM and IVAO? Well, VATSIM is better. Okay, I know some people are gonna kill me for that, but the difference is really some operating rules, and it's just two networks trying to achieve the same thing. VATSIM is a bit more strict on rules by the book. IVAO is a little bit less strict there, and they're using some different software. But you know, overall, the major difference for me, the reason why I'm flying VATSIM and not on IVAO, is that there is more ATC available on VATSIM and more pilots flying on that network. And MFlyer, what is the estimated time en route? Well, in total we're looking at 2 hours. We're now about 45 minutes en route, so we're looking at about an hour and 15 until we're going to land in Ho Chi Minh. And 777 driver, see my last message regarding a question about the heads-up display in your company 787. I must have missed that earlier, so my apologies for that. Yes, on the Dreamliners we do have the HUDs. Since I don't fly them, I cannot comment if they are used as standard. However, I know for a fact that they are included. As for the 777s, the only 8 I have seen is the absolutely ancient paravisual display PVD on our older 777-200s, and even those aren't used anymore. Yeah, sounds kinda familiar. Okay, back to the flight deck. Looks absolutely beautiful outside. Random guy, what is my GPU? At the moment I'm running a 3080 Ti, but it's really reaching its limits already. That's the reason why I'm saving for a 4090. The frame rate generation that you have in the RTX 4000 series is just, you know, let's say by default you would get 30 frames. The RTX 40 series can simply double it. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. And an MFlyer, does the HUD flip up? Yep, if you click it, you can put it up. So let's see, a little bit earlier in the flight, ATC slowed some of the preceding aircraft down. I remember that Alaska call sign. He had to reduce speed, but where is he? 8,000 above. But there is one guy at our level up there as well. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That guy, we can simply overtake him from below. But that guy, probably not. But I wonder why we couldn't climb 2,000 feet higher, because it doesn't look like there is any traffic up there. Well, anyway, we are simply going to continue on here for now, and we'll have an eye on the traffic. But the way it looks to me right now, we are simply stuck at this flight level. What's gonna be interesting is You know, we're maybe flying 20 knots faster than the 737 would, for example. And since we're flying those 20 knots more, we, in the remainder of the cruise, which now, let's see, 12:03, so we have about 45 minutes left in the cruise. In that time, we're going to make maybe 15 miles compared to the guy ahead of us, that we will travel further. So we're going to be right in between those two. But if you look at those two, they're basically separated by 10 miles. In other words, both the guy in front over there and myself will basically be in a position where ATC is going to have huge problems getting us separated on the arrival in. Honestly, I just see us doing a 90-degree turn off the route once more. And JFoot 709 for 4K, the 49 is worth it. That's what I'm thinking as well. A friend of mine is still using a 1070, but he's got a very small screen, and MSFS runs just fine on that. I experimented a little bit with it as well. If I'm running my screen in 4K resolution, then I'm getting about a quarter of the frames that I would get at 1080p resolution. But if I take my 40-inch screen and run it on 1080p, then, you know, it just feels like I'm taking my glasses off after I've been wearing the glasses for a complete day, you know? I can't do that. I just can't do that. On the other hand side, it means I'll have to invest into a new graphic card, and there are currently a couple offers up on some German shops where you can get a 4090 for 1,650 bucks. And that is what I'm thinking about at the moment. That is what I'm saving towards. Because, well, I got my 3080 about 2 years back, I believe. Yeah, it must have been roughly 2 years back. And it cost 2,000 bucks back then, and by now it is maxed out. And I have a feeling, with the speed at which graphic cards are developing at the moment, you know, the 40 series just put the 30 series completely behind. Especially with the new frame rate generation in DLSS 3. So for that reason, I'm really thinking about getting a 4090 now, because at least that means I'm going to be equipped for the next 2 or 3 years. It's a pity that hardware for the price of, you know, 1,500 to 2,000 euros is outdated after 2 years' time, but unfortunately that is what it is, and we just have to live with it somehow. So that's really unfortunate, but it is what it is. And for that reason I'm looking to upgrade my graphics card. But yeah, Metal Eye, it is really impressive, isn't it, that a 3080 Ti 2-year-old card is in its limits, but that's what it is. You know, if I'm flying the Phoenix A320 into Frankfurt on a VATSIM event, I'm sometimes getting 15 frames. That's just incredible.
Shuttle Shield is Squawk 5141.
And Lima Echo Lima 3, I would wait until the 5 series at this point. I thought about that as well, and M-Fly said it is 1,650 euro. But Lima Echo Lima 3, yeah, I thought about waiting for the 5 series as well. The problem is just, first of all, who knows when it's actually going to come out and actually be available in larger numbers. Because that is always a thing. I'm sure it's going to be announced in a couple months' time. But, you know, until it is actually available in large numbers, who knows how long that is going to take then. And the one big thing, though, I wanted to do the same when I bought the 3080, but the one big thing back then was that the 3080 just didn't really drop in price when the 40 series came out. So that is really the big thing there that concerned me. So I'm not really too hopeful. And if I'm totally honest, looking at how things are progressing these days, I find it very hard to actually project what might happen. What I do certainly see happening there is Number one, if you wait, the requirements for hardware are just going to rise as well. Just look at how bad the frame rates have really gotten in a lot of. What's up? By the way, somebody is asking if we can do the wing view for a little. Where is it?
Control, hello. Vietnam
There we go. There we got the wing view. So yeah, for the Chromax, I do agree that the prices will drop when the 50 series comes out, but then again, they are just going to use it as an excuse. They're just going to use it as an excuse to increase the prices due to inflation, and I don't really see it getting that much cheaper. I just don't see that happening. Maybe 100 euros. But by that time, we're talking about in half a year maybe, but when the prices really drop. And, you know, I don't see it worth it, to be honest. I just don't see it worth it. And an M Flyer at the moment, I'm running an Intel 9900 overclocked at 5.2 gigahertz. Thinking about changing to AMD. A friend of mine actually came up with a really nice package for a computer upgrade. The only problem is that it costs $2,500, and I don't really want to pay that at the moment because, you know, I will be paying a lot of money for all the travels during my type rating and stuff like that, so I don't want to spend another $2,500 on the computer. I'm thinking graphic card only for maybe 1,650 or something. Yeah, that might just about be necessary, but for the rest of it, you know, one day, but not yet.
Last station calling, sir, again.
And Hendrik, I absolutely agree. GPU prices are horrendous. You have a 7,900, but even that was unbelievably expensive. Yeah.
Indonesia A134 unable, due traffic.
Roger, unable. Indonesia 74.
Lovely view, isn't it? Really lovely view. Only the beacon annoys me a little bit there. You should absolutely not be able to see that from inside the cabin, on the inside walls. Reflection on the engines, yes. Reflection on top of the wings, yes. But on the inside walls of the cabin, come on.
Cargo looks 785 for how long you back?
Okay, in any case, let's just about go back into the cockpit and let's see, passing Exodo at 29, 30 miles to run. What does our flight plan say? How much fuel should we have then?
10 minutes for our cockpit.
Moscow 319, report back.
So,
We'll get Master 319, thank you.
Exodo is going to be the boundary into the Ho Chi Minh FIR. We should be there 59 minutes into the flight with 9,200. We loaded 2 tons more, so I'm expecting 11,200 kilos and 59 minutes. And looking at it, we're running at 11,400 kilos right now, so 200 to burn to get there. Yeah, maybe 59 minutes. Sounds about good to me. So we're actually running quite on time.
Controlled.
But talking about running on time, those calculations don't seem to make a lot of sense. Look at that. Current UTC is 28. And it's estimating 29 at Exodo. But that is 24 miles to run. That doesn't make sense to me. This is just 30 seconds that it's forecasting over here. But we are certainly going to take longer than 30 seconds for 23 nautical miles. You can basically say that doing 520 knots, we're roughly doing 9 nautical miles per minute. So, take the 9 miles, divided by that, we need like 2 minutes and a bit. So, the estimation up here that we're going to reach Exodo at 11:29 is definitely incorrect. What does that stuff look like on the progress page, by the way? Also 29. Okay, so those ETAs over there do not seem correct to me at the moment. That would be quite relevant if you are flying transatlantic and you actually had to do position reports. Now, on VATSIM they sometimes still do position reports. In real life, it's just all data link. so you wouldn't really have to be bothered about that. But on VATSIM, they often still use position reports, and looking at this, we definitely seem to have a problem there. Okay, now the ETA is sprung to 30, but let's see. It's exactly 30 right now, but again, we're doing 9 miles per minute, so this 30 over here cannot be correct either. Not that hard to do that kind of mathematics, is it? I really wonder why developers are sometimes messing up such easy calculations. I mean, calculating how long it's going to take to get somewhere, if you have the speed given, really isn't that much of a problem, is it? Hendrik, 246, would I recommend Ryanair as first airline? Yeah, I would. Obviously, you know, there are airlines treating their employees better, out of question. On the other hand side, though, you know, you get a lot of hours, you get to fly a decent aircraft with the 737, and once you actually are out of training, you also get a decent salary in Ryanair. So, yeah, the 5-4 roster is nice as well. 5 days working, 4 days off. And MS, am I using any mods for the 787 or am I using the default? I'm using the beta version of the aircraft and avionic updates, and I have the VATSIM Plus sound pack. Apart from that, I do not have any additional mods. So that is all that I'm using for the 787. The aircraft avionic update, beta, and the VATSIM Plus sound pack.
When I'm 562, you are leaving my radar coverage. Due to the Ho Chi Minh control no response, please report every waypoint passing in the frequency.
So we're passing Exodo.
Roger, I will try to
and we have 11.1 tons of fuel, so we're 100 kilos down from what we should have, but keep in mind we are heavier, so for that reason...
You are leaving my radar coverage due to the Vietnam Ho Chi Minh control
just listen
no
to
response.
ATC.
And please report every waypoint passing in my frequency. Thanks.
Roger, report every waypoint on your frequency. That's control line. Thank you.
Do 316 some to you report every waypoint in my frequency, please.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, did you just listen to that on the ATC? Seems like there is a radar outage at Ho Chi Minh, and the en route controller doesn't have radar available.
To contact Ho Chi Minh control 132.35 per day.
Now they're forwarding him, okay. 132.35. We can pre-select that. So what just happened there is ATC said that there was a radar outage en route, and that apparently some of the en route stations had technical difficulties. For that reason, he wanted us to maintain on his frequency while technically flying in the Ho Chi Minh area already, and then report every waypoint passing. So that way, he would kind of resume the non-radar environment procedures. That was really interesting. Let's see if that is actually going to stay like this, because it will be interesting for us as well. Most importantly, taking into account the not exactly correctly working waypoint predictions there. So that's definitely something interesting that we have to keep thinking about as we fly along. And Viper NB, how did I get my default weight to kilograms? Well, I went into the menu, I don't remember where exactly it is, and just set the simulator's own weight units to metric. And then your airplane is showing metric as well. William Bosch, why does the FMC on the 787 look like the design is in late alpha stage? You mean that, I suppose? Well, that is quite easy. The type rating of the 787 is a common type rating with the Boeing 777. And on the 777s, you still have the conventional FMCs. So in order to maintain commonality between the two aircraft types, the FMC design in the 787 basically looks like the 777 FMC. You can see a different approach in Airbus, for example, where the FMC design of the A380 and of the A350 is a different one than it is on the previous Airbuses. Even though it is still somewhat similar, because it still is a common type rating, but you get where this is going. Boeing and Airbus went down a slightly different route there. Vietnam 595, go ahead.
Vietnam 595, confirm your Mach number.
Vietnam 595, Mach decimal 85.
Vietnam 595, reduce Mach number decimal 8.
Reduce decimal 80, Vietnam 595.
And
okay, Mach decimal 80.
Control, Vietnam 562, I have a
looks like
contact
they
with
are
control here.
finally trying to create some separation. Let's have a look. So there's one guy, no, two guys about 7 miles ahead, and one guy 7 miles behind. This is going to be a problem for air traffic control, because they somehow need to get those guys here 10 miles apart. And, you know, normally VATSIM would just go ahead and give a guy a 90-degree turn off. That's his only VATSIM, by the way. In real life, they don't do that. In real life, they would create the separation using speed restrictions and keep the separation, if they can't do it by speed restrictions, by turning aircraft maybe 10 degrees either side and so, and by assigning rates of climb and rate of descent. So we're looking forward to see how they are going to solve that. But in the region of 10 miles, a little bit more, you have 4 aircraft over here. That is going to be very interesting to see how the guys at Ho Chi Minh are going to handle that. Because that's certainly not the kind of situation that you want as an air traffic controller.
Alaska 179er is able to try to contact Ho Chi Minh control on 132.35.
Roger, I'm trying to contact 132.35. Thank you, goodbye. Let's go.
This is also interesting. If able, contact Ho Chi Minh.
If you have a contact established, please report to me. Thank you.
Roger.
And if you have contact established, please report to me. That's interesting. So, in some parts of the world, this really happens, that the different air traffic control units cannot talk to one another. For example, when you're flying between Cyprus and Turkey, you often run into that, because they have this little dispute over who northern Cyprus belongs to. And the two air traffic control units just don't talk to one another. So sometimes it happens that one of the units tells an aircraft to tell the other controller, to tell the other ATC unit a certain message. Funny to see this happening in this part of the world as well. Not what I expected to see, but then again, nice to see that in action as well. You know, it's certainly making for a little bit. It's making the flight more interesting. That's by the way part of the reason why I always found the flights leading into the region of Israel or Jordan from Germany a lot more interesting, for example, than for example flights to the Canary Islands. When you fly over to Jordan or Israel, you have so many air traffic controllers to talk to. You need to get airspace entry permissions and stuff like that. While when you're flying to the Canaries, you know, sometimes Agadir control doesn't answer, but that's it. Apart from that, you just sit there 4 hours straight and have nothing to do. On a flight like this, however, where you are in a totally different kind of airspace, in a totally different kind of system, it really adds a little bit to the flight. Makes it more interesting. And Johnson C, speaking about ATC, have you encountered people speaking their local languages? Oh, yes. And I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Here you go, huh? People speaking local language. And Spencer Bruce, well, hello from Israel. Yeah, hi there. Okay, I see. We are flying along, but it makes things a lot more interesting. That's also one of the things that I'm looking forward to when finally going long haul. All those differences. No, it's just going to make the world a much more interesting. It's just going to make things much more interesting.
Bavarian 812, report your squawk number.
Squawk number is
also, that you have to report the squawk all the time down here. You know, well, I'm saying down here that actually starts pretty much to the east of Cyprus already. That you have to report your squawk all the time, and when you do that, you know, you're thinking like, what are they using it for? Are they using it for aircraft identification? And then I'm always thinking, Vietnam 595, please confirm the assigned Mach number.
Decimal 78 due to traffic.
Reduce decimal 78, Vietnam 595.
Dragon 761 contact Ho Chi Minh Control 13.
Yeah, that's not going to make much of a difference here. That's maybe 10 knots true airspeed. That's not going to make much of a difference anymore. They really need to speed up the two guys in front there, and then slow down the guy in the back. Otherwise, that is not going to work, and then we end up on delay vectors. 132.35, Vietnam 595. Good day.
Indonesia 8.
Ho Chi Minh Control, good evening. Vietnam Airlines 595, flight level 350, Mach decimal 78.
Vietnam 595, Ho Chi Minh Control, identify. Maintain flight level 350 and maintain your current cruising speed.
Maintain level 350 and maintain Mach decimal 78, Vietnam 595.
Dragon 767, Ho Chi Minh Control. Say again, sir. Dragon 767, checking in. Flight level 350. That's Vietnam 767, Ho Chi Minh Control, Roger, identify, maintain flight level 350 and report back speed number.
Alright, Mosk, so what do you think of the 787? I think that it is a very promising state at the moment. This is really going to get a very good aircraft. I'm really hoping that I'm eventually going to get the time to fly across the pond event and to live stream one. And if I do, then the 787, unless the 777 is out by then, but then the 787 is probably going to be my airplane of choice. So Working Title is doing a really good job on this. Obviously there's still quite some bugs in there and they still have quite some work to do, but things are evolving. Things are evolving, and they have laid a very good foundation. I enjoy flying it a lot. And my Polish friend, I think it is prohibited in Japan to speak local. Yeah, the same in Germany. We are only allowed to use German in VFR communication, not in IFR. And even in VFR, I would really recommend not to use it. Because, you know, you never know if there is an airliner on the frequency who is trying to maintain situational awareness, who just can't do anything with you speaking local. So, for that reason, I would absolutely recommend everybody to use English as the only and exclusive aviation language. And Arthur, is this a 787-8? No, it's the -10. Well, kind of hard to see right now, but this is the -10 that we are flying.
With you at flight level 360. Indonesia 8734, identify control, identify, report back speed number.
Gabor, sir, your ATR Greek island hopping video in an hour is still on track. Will it be pre-recorded video or live stream? Gabor, it's going to be a live stream, but yeah, if we can make that in an hour from now, I seriously hope so. But we've got quite a lot of delays. Let's see, progress page 21. Yeah, should be fine. We should be able to make it in an hour. Atomic Penguin, 2 times Squawk 7700 near London at the moment. They have the capability to handle that. I am
heading
not concerned
180
about that.
and contact sector 1 on 120.1.
So yeah, we just gotta hope that we don't get too much delay on the arrival here, in order for the next live stream. This is just much more delay than I would have expected.
Turn left heading 180
at the moment.
and contact sector 1 on
But I'm sure it's going to work out eventually. So, in the worst case, the ATR stream starts directly after this one.
Heading 180, contact 120.1.
Okay, in the meantime, we do not have any proper arrival in the FNC yet, so we might just about have a look into the charts and start figuring something out there. And yeah, since using the Navigraph app in the sim really goes on my performance, I'm going to use Sim Toolkit Pro, and I have the Navigraph web version enabled in there. So, first thing for us to check, which runway are they using? And the ATIS reports arrival runway ILS Whiskey 25 right. Okay, so that is the first thing we can start with. ILS Whiskey, and that's 25 left. Here we go, Whiskey 25 right. We'll take that. Next up, let's have a look at the arrival routes. We're coming from VATSIM, so let's have a quick look. Arrivals. Oh, that's not too interesting. We had one of those. Enough arrivals. That's better. Okay. Coming from VATSIM on the Boeing.
905 reduced max speed number .77 and turn right heading 280 for separation.
Vietnam 5905, Mach decimal 77 heading 280. How long is the delay going to be?
It's going to be about 10 or 15 minutes only, so.
Roger. Okay, another 10 to 15 minutes and another 90-degree turn almost. I don't know why they can't do proper separation on VATSIM. That's really... It's not too difficult.
Dragon 767, maintain your maximum cruising speed. Maintain maximum cruising speed.
It's really not too difficult.
Dragon 767, what is your maximum max speed number?
So they're turning two guys out, and the guy behind is probably just going straight through. That's just silly.
Dragon 767, contact sector 1 on 120.1. Have a good day, sir.
But yeah, it's not like we foresaw that happening. I don't know. Much early. Okay, so runway 25 right. What arrival do we have there? Omi to Foxtrot or Golf. How do we know which one to expect?
We need 8734 for separation.
And danger areas operating. That's probably not the case on VATSIM.
Say again for initiate 74.
Well, I'm just going to enter the Boeing Foxtrot arrival for now.
For separation, turn right heading 280. Reduce max speed number .77.
Turn right heading 280 and
max speed different approach. Okay. So ILS Whiskey 25 right. Why do we only have Tango and Golf? Where's the Foxtrot? I mean, okay, Golf is fine for me. We have that on the charts as well. We're coming from VATSIM. And the arrival ends at Omcast, but we don't have a transition from there. Let's look into the chart.
Dragon 9684 for trimming control, not identified for identification to right heading 270.
They're doing an identification turn. I can't believe it.
Identification. Confirm you have CBDLC available today?
Okay,
negative,
let's see what we have
just
now. Baomi, all those waypoints, Omcast. And then we have the Tango Sierra 426, which is here. I guess we're just about gonna leave it like this.
312 for treatment control.
Let's have a look into the plane and see what we actually have in the FMC right now.
Maintain your maximum cruising speed.
For identification, maintain maximum cruising speed.
What on earth is that? For identification, maintain maximum cruising speed? Never heard something like that.
Either we are at Mark, that's what you want, correct?
Okay, so that looks quite okay to me.
Decimal 81, roger, copy.
And after 4 to 6, Omcars? Where's Omcars coming from?
Jimmy Control, xin chào. Mascot 319 level
over here, okay.
390.
Well, you know what? Then we're gonna make it 4 to 6 after SOCAN, and that should be sort of alright. Knowing my luck, we will be sent direct Omcars, but I don't really care. Let's just make sure we got something in the box.
Station calling, say again, sir.
Jimmy, this is Mascot 319 level 390.
It's been a while since I last heard somebody do an identification, and that is just incredible. Never thought I'd hear that again. Okay,
Pendular 390,
see, 081
and we can make
21.
Mach decimal 84 maximum Mascot 319.
Mascot 319, roger, copy, maintain that maximum cruising speed at decimal 84.
And then 098 at 14. Then we're looking at 106 at 5.
Sector 1 on 120.1.
And 272 at 8.
Control, Dragon 9, for you have radar identification now.
Dragon 9.
Okay, arrival fuel 7.9, that means we're going to use 1.7.
Heading for identification there. Dragon 9,
So that is 194.5. Sorry, 0.4. It's going to be quite a fast approach here, 151 knots. But if that's what it is, then that's what it is.
For identification, turn right heading 270.
right heading 270,
Vietnam 594, turn left heading 180, contact sector 1.
Okay, minimums, Cat Delta airplane, 352.
Left 180, 121.1, bye bye, Vietnam 594.
Ho Chi Minh Control, hello, Vietnam Airlines 941, inbound Vietnam, fly level 400.
Vietnam 941.
We go 352 into the minimums. And missed approach, proceed Tango Sierra 420, let's quickly check that.
Right heading 270, Vietnam 941.
So Tango Sierra 420, right Tango Sierra 500, and hold 3000.
Vietnam 595, turn left heading 180, and contact sector 1 on 120.1.
Left heading 180 and 1201. 595. Look at that, we're turning 100 degrees to the left. What kind of nonsense is this? What kind of nonsense is this?
303, service wind 315 right approach.
Sorry, say again please, Vietnam 594.
Vietnam 594, dial up 2 hotel arrival, VTOM transition, IS Whiskey 25 right approach.
Dollar 2 hotel arrival, VTOM transition, IS Whiskey 25 right, Vietnam 594.
Correct.
Control, good evening, Vietnam 5905, flight level 350, turning heading 180.
Vietnam 595, good Airline descent, stretching reduced Mach decimal 77, turn left heading 190 for now, heading 190.
We are at Mach decimal 77 and heading 190, Vietnam 595.
Vietnam 594, route direct Sofa, Sierra Oscar, Sierra Papa Alpha.
He said 594, did he? So not for us.
Direct Phosphor, Vietnam 594.
Oscar Yankee Lima Lima Golf, contact terminal 125.5.
Look at that, 50 miles off track. Sometimes I just don't understand it, but...
China 8911, descend 13,000, Jonas 1007, information Lima. This is 3000 feet, Commission 007 at
An atomic penguin, yeah, you're absolutely right. Identification terms are used to identify aircraft using only primary radar. One that doesn't talk to transponders. Do they not have secondary radars on VATSIM or in real life there? Well, on VATSIM they have secondary radars, that is for sure. However, they might... I don't know if they have secondary radar here in real life. So... You know, if they don't have secondary radar here in real life...
to hotel arrival, Vietnam transition as Whiskey 25 right approach.
Vietnam 595, please say again the arrival.
Vietnam 595, Dallas to hotel arrival, Vietnam transition as Whiskey 25 right approach.
Vietnam 595, Dallas to hotel arrival, Vietnam transition, alias Whiskey 25 right. Okay. So we just about gotta do this stuff again.
Your curly 12 o'clock, less than a mile on
the Dollar to hotel, Vietnam transition. Let's take that.
Report traffic inside.
Let's see what that looks like.
Copy, sir.
Oh, lovely point merge.
369 contact server 125.5
Okay. Let's take a SOCOM transition here. Then we just about gotta join those two up again. Okay. So, what does that look like now? Point merge. Yuck. But, with that traffic they have at the moment, in Europe they probably wouldn't care, but over here, you know, if they're not so used to doing that. Or if that is the local procedure, I don't know. It might just be the local procedure that they're using, so it might be all correct there. And that the VATSIM guys are simply doing what the real guys would be doing. If it makes sense or not is a different question, of course. But if that is what the real guys would be doing, then I am not going to complain.
Now, fire level 1.
Yeah, that looks like about it. The Isle of Whiskey 25 right we have in already. We've got the minimum pre-selected. The only thing we can do there, QNH 1007, so let's set that as well. Here we go.
TPDLC service terminated. Press Vietnam 562 descend now 1000 feet, QNH 1007.
Okay,
so let's have a quick look into the charts once more. Landing on 25
Indonesia
right.
F734 continue.
So we can cross on Papa 5 on Papa 6, 3000 meter runway, so first exit won't be a problem for us. I'm going to use manual braking because I find the auto brakes a little bit excessive in the aircraft here at the moment. So we are just going to vacate like this. And let's quickly get up a taxi chart as well.
Confirm. From Airport Tango Hotel, and did you send me for
and quick look into the airport briefing. If there are as many charts as there are here at the moment, there is a good point that they might have some standard taxiway system that we should be aware of as we're about to approach. That's takeoff clearance, we don't care for that. Roll continued. We don't care for that. Taxi line limitations, that's going to be ATC's problem, not ours. So another general. Okay, also ATC problems.
Indonesia 734 request cruising
operational 787. Okay, that's dash 9 only, so not interesting for us.
I think it's...
Interesting here that they say Boeing 787-9 use 25 left as main runway for these aircraft types, limited use on 25 right, but he told us to expect that, and technically speaking we're not in a 787-9, we're in a 787-10. Okay, that's only stand information, not interesting. ACDM we don't care about, we are an arrival, not a departure. That's also all not interesting for us. Man, there is really too many charts here.
Philippine Flight 908.
This is all not interesting for us.
Control 132.
This is all just ground operations manual stuff. But procedures for towing and pushing, we don't care. Man, why do they publish all this kind of information in the AIP? This is really... we don't need that. But nonetheless, we just have to skip through it. Okay, there's really just different stand information there.
Pilot 7854 route direct to Lima.
But checking procedures of other aircraft when there is aircraft parking at stands. Yeah, why should we care about that? Okay.
Pilot 7854 left heading 180.
Okay, I don't see why any of that should be interesting for us, so we can just about forget about it as well. And let's quickly get the new arrival. On of arrival, we aren't doing that anymore, but we are going to do the dial-up to hotel. Like that. Is there anything interesting here? Radar surveillance required. ATC make clear aircraft to direct SOCOM before reaching 432. Yep, sure thing, since it's a point merge. And only used after complete in coordination with the regional air traffic control center. Okay, we don't care about that. Transition level 190. That stuff we do care about.
Transition
level 190.
Transition. IRS Whiskey 25 right approach.
And that should really be it from the information box. Apart from that, anything interesting on here?
Okay.
Dial-up 250 knots and flight level 110. That we have. Then we go on to VCAP at 9,000. We have that as well. And all the standard stuff here, 432. At 9,000, so that means you fly the entire point merge at 9,000, and then you have SOCAN max 230 knots between 2.4 and 5. So SOCAP 230 knots between 2.4 and 5. Okay. Perfect. So that is what we're gonna do. Standard stuff then. A lot of pages, but for really no information there at all.
Alaska 179 reduce question descent speed 240 knots on conversion.
Speed 240 knots on conversion, and that's confirmed.
Vietnam 560 contact Delta Terminal 125.5, good answer.
Contact Terminal 125.5.
What's interesting here, in case they want us to reduce speed any further, is that we don't have any low speed information here. That still seems to be missing from the simulation. But I'm fairly sure that we're operating close to the lower speed limits at the moment. So I don't really want to reduce the speed any further, because we just don't know where the Buffett onset would be. The one thing that I can tell you for sure is that at flight level 350, 200 knots is certainly going to be a problem. Let's just see what that would be for a second. Look at that, you absolutely can't fly Mach 0.59 at this level. So, I don't know what it is, but they just don't have low speed info on here. There's something down there at 200 knots, but come on, that cannot be correct. That cannot be correct.
Sun 67 descent 14,000, Connect 1007.
And here you see why you shouldn't reduce thrust too much in cruise. Look at how much speed we lost, just because the engines went down to idle for a second while I demonstrated. Vietnam 595, we are still on the heading 190. Confirm direct Lima Kilo Hotel now?
Affirmative.
Roger, direct Lima Kilo Hotel, Vietnam 595. Okay, Lima Kilo Hotel, execute, LNAV available. LNAV. And here we go. I wonder what that is going to look like in SimToolkit when we have a look at the routing after the flight. I'm sure it's going to look interesting. I am very sure it's going to look interesting. But they still have a problem here. Look at that aircraft. Where's he going? If he's going to Lima Kilo Hotel, then him and me will be in direct conflict once again. The same goes with the other guy there. If that guy is going somewhere like this, then I'm going to get in conflict with him.
Cathay 261.
We take the distance to Lima Kilo Hotel. Right now it's kind of fine. This is 15 miles. But if this is going like this, he's doing some additional 5 miles, so then we are at 10 miles already, and then that guy over here is going to be totally screwed. So that's going to be interesting.
125.5 km.
Speed 1320 knots, contact 125.5, service goodbye, let's control 9.
316, descend 1000 feet, QNH 1007.
It's interesting what they're doing here at the moment. It's really interesting.
Dragon 767.
Okay, for us, we're pretty much done with our setup, so let's go ahead and read the descent checklist. Auto brake selector, off, anti-ice, auto.
Vietnam 595 confirm now direct to Lima Kilo Hotel.
Vietnam 595, A firm, we are inbound Lima Kilo Hotel.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that is what we're doing. That definitely is what we're doing. Okay, and altimeters, that's 1007 pre-selected.
5904, route direct
checklist complete. Okay. So that is that part. We are pretty much all set up.
Direct Vietnam, Vietnam 594.
And Photochromax, it seems there are ARP regulators worse than Italian ones. Yeah. Definitely seems like it. Anyway, top of descent in 30 miles, so we are almost there. Things are going well.
Control, good evening. This is Cathay 131, maintaining flight level 360, continue 15 nautical miles before top of descent inbound Karan, 10 nautical miles.
Yeah, in the meantime, I am slowly getting into the mood for the upcoming live stream after this, which is going to be the island hopping on the Canaries, where we're going to fly from Rodas to Heraklion and back. But let's hope we aren't going to get too much ATC delay on the arrival, so that we can actually make that event on time. But we'll see about it. It's going to be in the ATR, so that's definitely going to be something interesting.
Cathay 101 Dallas to Hotel arrival, based on transition at Whiskey 25 right approach.
Roger, Dallas to Hotel, based on my transition island 25 right. Cathay 131.
Vietnam 594 able, increase speed max decimal 79.
Okay, that's 5904, that is not for us.
Actually, we are ready for descent.
I'm a little bit focused right now on, I'm a little bit focused right now on keeping up with that traffic control, because I'm just not too familiar with the procedures over here. That's the reason why I'm really listening to ATC at the moment and not doing too much of
control, we don't have any whiskey 25 right in request,
and not talk too much, so don't get worried there. That is
X-ray runway 25 right approach, and you are identified with your speed.
That's just normal. That's just normal. That's how I'd like to put it.
84 and island 25 right X-ray, Cathay 125.
Remaining after 31 mile over 390.
In any case, we are almost there. So
confirm you got arrival clearance.
Negative.
And Remy Cha, have I ever flown to Corfu? Yes, I have. Corfu is lovely. It's one of my favorite airports. Not too long, the flight, and the approach is just beautiful. Unfortunately, I never got to do...
For now, descent flight level 330.
Vietnam 595, descent flight level 330.
Indonesia 7834, do the traffic able flight level 390.
Okay, set. 330 checked. Let's go vertical speed.
Climb to 390.
1000 FMC message, reset MCP alerts.
Okay,
that's what we just did.
125.5, expedite descent 1000.
It's over 1000, compared to 125.5,
This still looks interesting over here with the different aircraft. I am not entirely convinced that this is the separation they wanted to achieve.
Cathay 1081,
why is the aircraft accelerating? Don't do that. Give me 270.
Cathay 101 Roger, copy, reduce Mach decimal 79.
Might even be a little bit fast. Let's go to 60 knots. I don't know why the conversion between ES and between indicated and between Mach number is always jumping so much. Like, it always likes to go into the red band. There's just no sense in that. Oh, I really wouldn't know why it would do that.
This is Indonesia 874.
But we gotta get our speed back so that we stay in sequence over here. And with that, we still have the other aircraft at the back of us, and he just vanished from our TCAS because of the altitude difference, but provided he's going to the same destination, that would be a little bit of a problem there that ATC has to solve. We've got one to go, doing vertical speed 1000, that's good. And that's basically all we can ask for, is it?
Ho Chi Minh Control, hello, Vietnam 941, inbound Karen, flight level 400.
Vietnam 5, station Vietnam 941.
And JFoot 709, too much talking, too little separation. Well,
transition, ILS,
you know, in some countries it can really sound like they are talking too much, but in the end things somehow work out. So, who knows, if we are going on the point merge while the guy in front of us is just going straight in, then things might work out for him. Different countries can be very interesting.
Sorry,
that's for sure.
Hotel for Vietnam 941.
9941, sir.
Okay, leveling at 330. Unless we really get too close while staying at this altitude, I'm not even gonna bother talking to him, because when he gave us the descent clearance, it really sounded like he was on top of the altitude. So he said, like, yeah, initially descent 330, so it sounds to me like he is aware that there might be conflicting traffic somewhere, and he's trying to solve that. So I'm not even going to complain, even though we are getting pretty high on profile right now. But he's going to call us.
We're ready to descent level 190.
Unless he forgets about us, which might very well happen as well.
Vietnam 5905, when ready, descent level, cushion, descent 13,000 feet, QNH 1007.
Vietnam 595, descent 13,000 feet, QNH 1007. Which speed do you want on conversion?
Vietnam 595 feet, 28, cushion 270 knots on conversion.
Speed 270 knots on conversion, Vietnam 5905.
Dragon
Okay.
767, descent
Down we go,
11,000 feet.
130, and look at that, 6,000 feet a minute in the acceleration. That might have been a little bit dramatic.
Terminal 125.5, get out.
Does that pitch up right now? Passengers would really feel that. The plane just really pulled some G-forces here, doing 450 knots true airspeed, pitching up like that. Passengers would really be forced into their seats there. 2,400 above the profile. But we're limited on the speed we can use, so we gotta use a bit of speed brake.
120-1007.
But really just a bit of it, because it is so incredibly effective on this airplane. Not sure if that is realistic. A friend of mine flies the 777, which is, well, a common type rating. That doesn't mean that performance must be similar, but it is the most similar to a 787 I would know. And he says you can easily get 6,000 feet a minute with full speed brake on the 777. So, who knows, maybe it is realistic. Certainly I don't know.
Vietnam 595 feet, 240 knots on conversion.
Vietnam 595, we are at 270 knots already. You want us to reduce 240 now?
594 negative, not useful. Fresh Vietnam 595 feet, 240 knots on conversion.
That was us, 595. Just to confirm, we're reducing 240 now, because our indicated currently is 270.
A first speed 240 knots.
240, Vietnam 595. That was a little bit confusing call there. He said on conversion speed 240, but we were above that already since he instructed us a higher speed earlier. So I just wanted to be absolutely sure that he knows we are reducing speed now.
ILS Whiskey, runway 25 right approach.
So yeah, that just sounded a little bit strange. Obviously, doing 240 knots, we are really going to need to speed brake now to get down, because the airplane has so little drag. And why is 214 invalid entry?
ILS Whiskey, runway 25 right.
Flash 240, is it going to accept that? Yeah, it does. Interesting as well that it doesn't illuminate the execute light when we enter speed. It certainly should, but yeah, who knows? Who knows? And now we're obviously 6,000 feet above profile, but look at that. The banana tells us we can make 13,000 at Dalop, then we can probably make 11,000. Might want to use a bit more speed brake though. And that looks good if you ask me.
Information Mike, QNH 1008, no readback required.
008. Selected.
Vietnam 594, contact us at terminal 125.5, good evening.
125.5, thanks for HC, bye bye, 594.
594.
Okay then, let's slowly get the airplane into a configuration appropriate for the approach. We're going to turn the master brightness off. I want there, like this. And turn the spotlights down. Down, not off. And we can certainly switch the lower display. Okay, something like this. Maybe a little bit brighter on the HOT, a little bit less on the dome light, and that should be good. Coming in nicely on the altitude, we might actually get the speed brake in a little bit more.
Descend 14.
Or might even stow it completely. Should be able to reach Dalop at 11,000 as needed.
Cafe 261, descend 1.
So that looks quite okay to me.
100. I said 1,000, 12,000, QNH 1008.
Indonesia 734 request leaving cockpit for 10 minutes.
Yes, 8734 unable, sir.
Remy, have I ever flown to ski HOTAS or Mykonos? So no, actually I haven't.
You can stay with us for next 3
Okay,
minutes.
set altimeter 1008.
Indonesia 734.
Thank you.
Confirming, sir, maintaining the max.
That passing 18.4 now.
Cafe 1081. Yes, question affirmative. Maintain Max decimal 89 for we'll call it shortly.
Okay. That's also interesting there that they are instructing somebody to do Mach points 89. That is really fast.
Speed and descend now flight level.
That is like really fast.
1008.
But I suppose if it's necessary, they do whatever they need to do. And as long as the pilot doesn't argue about it.
535, contact us at terminal 125.5, good day.
125.5, Vietnam 595, good day.
Good day, sir. Indonesia 7834, contact us, giving control 132.35, good day.
Approach, good evening, Vietnam 595, passing 17,000, descending 13,000, inbound, Dalop information, Mike speed 240.
Vietnam 595, transfer terminal, thanks, descend at 9,000 feet via star.
Descending 9,000 feet via star, Vietnam 595. That's a quick, that's a quick talker there. That's going to be
reducing 250.
Interesting.
Vietnam 594.
594, roger.
Okay, so descent via star, that means we'll need a little bit of speed brake there in order to meet the Dalop restriction. Actually, we'll need a lot of speed brake to reach the Dalop restriction. But look at that, we have plenty of speed brake available. This might actually be a little bit too powerful here. Like, look at that, we have half speed brake and we're getting 6,000, well, 5,000 feet a minute from the plane. That is interesting. Okay, we get to see the first lights.
Vietnam 594, clear direct SOCAN.
Direct SOCAN 594.
Hi on, good evening Captain, welcome to Vietnam. Thank you my friend. Okay, we're passing Dollop and we are almost on altitude. I'm just gonna keep the rate of descent up till we pass 11, and then we can slow down further. Okay. Deep brake us in. So, speed limit, there is none currently. Next up is going to be SOCAN, 230 knots maximum. So that is good for us. Altitude banana, 9,000 prior to VCAP, that is good. I might as well just give it vertical speed over here, 1,000 foot a minute. Should bring the banana nicely into the region of VCAP. Like so. Good. Okay, and we're approaching 10,000.
4,000,
210,
594.
594, 3,000.
Sorry, 3,000. Descend maintain 3,000, releasing 210 here at 594.
Dragon 767, speed 210, not so greater.
210 or greater, Dragon 767.
On the go. Checked.
Dragon 767, be a SOCAN cleared ILS Whiskey approach, runway 25 right.
SOCAN cleared ILS Whiskey,
So,
25 right.
little explanation here. Onto what?
595, descend of 4,000 feet.
595, descend of 4,000 feet.
595, apologies. Proceed direct to SOCAN, descend 4,000.
Direct to SOCAN, descend 4,000 feet. 595. Okay, very nice. That's the point merge done. Oh, towards SOCAN.
Approach,
that looks good. Execute.
Vietnam 594.
Enough available.
Requesting enough cockpit for 10 minutes.
Enough.
Vietnam 594, in a perfect scenario for me, in 10 minutes you'll be on the ground.
Yeah, I need to make a phone call, just which is take approximately 30 seconds for the information.
Vietnam 594, roger, that is... I'll tell you what, fly heading 200 and your away is approved.
That was nice. That is nice. The guy insists on doing a phone call in approach, because he's in front of us on the approach. And well, ATC just turned him out of the sequence. And now he can do his phone call. That's nice. So look at that. Now the guy's turning off the approach. Going somewhere over here, heading 200. And now he can make his phone call. I like this controller. I really like him. Okay, back to vertical speeds. Now that I'm no longer expecting an arrival delay, we might as well just reduce the rate of descent there in order to make a nice CDA. Okay, approach checklist. Landing light switches. On. And seatbelt selector on. Approach checklist complete. And Dryson, he is a good controller, had him several times, really cool dude. Okay. I mean, so far what he's doing with us sounds good. Sounds good as well.
Cathay 261, Tanzania Terminal, hello, descend at 9,000 feet via star.
9,000 via star,
Vietnam 595, descend 3,000 feet. Via SOCAN, cleared ILS Whiskey approach, runway 25 right.
Vietnam 595, descend 3,000 via SOCAN, cleared ILS Whiskey 25 right. Set.
Back to
3,000
cockpit,
checks.
Vietnam 594.
Vietnam 594, roger, turn left all the way around, heading 040.
Left 040, Vietnam 594.
And now he's going back to the end of the sequence. I mean, honestly, if I would have to do that, if I would have to do that phone call, I would probably just have done it while on VATSIM. And if I had to answer a VATSIM call, I would just have muted the phone, you know? At least if it was only a 30-second call like he said to ATC it would.
Dragon 767, contact on Sonata Tower, 118.7, good night.
118.7, Dragon 767, yes.
Vietnam 595, speed 220 knots.
And 595, 220 knots. A level change, 220, flap 1, speed checked. How's it climbing? Oh, please. We got to be below 5,000 at SOCAN, but I think the plane should be able to make it. 3.5 miles, 1,000
594, continue left turn, direct SOCAN.
Continue left turn, direct SOCAN, Vietnam 594.
Yeah, look at that, 2,000 feet a minute. The plane is certainly able to make that.
Ho Chi Minh approach, good evening. Cathay 131 Heavy.
17 miles from the ILS.
Flight level
Let's get the rate of descent under control here. Give me 1,000 feet a minute.
Cathay 1081, Tansanat Terminal, good evening, descend 9,000 feet, via star.
Could be 2,000 over here by waypoint 474.
Cathay 1081, affirm.
So we'll be 3,000 here.
9,000 feet by the start.
Any higher rate of descent, and then we should be very good. And here our VNAV path is coming back as well. Okay, here comes the glide slope. Nicely in it, might descend a tiny bit faster. Level change for now.
Vietnam 594 via SOCAN, clear ILS Whiskey, approach runway 25 right.
And then we're clear for the approach, so approach mode on. We are within 17 miles as well. Still going quite quick, but you turned the preceding aircraft out, so if we just about maintain the speed, that should give us...
Speed 180 knots until 8 mile final.
Later until 8 miles, Vietnam 595. I was just about to say we don't need to expect a reduction, and here we go. Okay, flap 5. Eject. And flap 10.
Approach confirming, we will be maintaining 24 knots. On start, it states the lap will be at 250 knots.
Cathay 1081, for now I can maintain the 240.
And level change.
Roger, 240,
1500, let's catch the glide slope. Localizer capture. And we're heading 250 set. And select the altitude down to 2000 since we're cleared for the ILS. And at 1500 feet a minute, we are nicely going to intercept this. Speed is 10 knots too high, that doesn't really matter to me. Here we go, glide slope captured.
9,000 VSR,
Nicely captured. Okay, set speed till 8 miles. Well, that looks good to me. So we're just about going to maintain the speed a little bit longer.
Cathay 261, proceed direct SOCAN, descend.
Doesn't look like there is traffic in front of us anyway, since the guy was turned out.
Vietnam 595, contact Tansanat Tower, 118.7, goodbye.
2500. 118.7, Vietnam 595, bye. Tansanat Tower, good evening, Vietnam 595, filers, Whiskey 25 right.
Vietnam 595, Tansanat Tower, xin chào, surface wind 250 knots, runway 25 right, clear land.
25 right, clear land, Vietnam 595. Okay, clear to land.
And Dragon 767, cross runway 25 left.
Okay, set Mr. Approach altitude 3000. And now we're nicely established.
Correction. Dragon 767, hold short at 25 left.
Hold short at 25 left and confirm
2752, surface wind 250 degree 3 knots, 25 right, correction, 25 left, lift takeoff, no delay.
25 looking for takeoff, no delay, CB752.
And Sanadu 316.
Flap 15. Let's start slowing it down. Gear down. Flaps 20.
767, are you
Flaps 30.
hold short traffic takeoff?
Oh, come on, aircraft. Your gear is down. What is it doing? The gear is down. I'll have to cycle it. Gear up. That's probably going to give a flap warning now. Yeah, come on. Shut up. Okay, gear up. Let's put it back down.
And Dragon 767 behind the traffic takeoff on runway 25 left, cross runway 25
Here we
left
go.
behind.
Or not. Well, the gear is down. Okay, landing checklist. Landing gear, down, speed brake lever, armed, flaps 30. Landing checklist complete. Yeah. I don't know what caused that gear warning, but it's under control now, so I don't care anymore. Okay, auto throttle off. Autopilot off. 500 continue. Continue. Under 60 knots approach speed, lovely.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
I flared, nothing happened. Nice.
Dragon 767 contact
Okay.
121.9 today.
Welcome to Ho Chi Minh. Speed brake up. And my reversers don't want to come on. Here we go.
25 right.
That was an interesting landing. That was an interesting landing. There's still something wrong with the landing physics here. Okay, auto reverse. Oh, my rudder pedals just slipped away. But here we go. Runway vacated. Okay, that's a sign for 7 right up here already, so we better hold short of that.
And I'm 595, welcome to Ho Chi Minh, cross runway 25 left.
Cross 25 left, Vietnam 595. Okay, so clear on the left, nobody taking off there.
Vietnam 594, subsequent 250, degree 3 knots, 25 right, clear land.
Okay, to land, runway 25 right, Vietnam 594.
On, start rolling. I'll leave the lights on.
Confirm cross 25 left.
595 FM, crossing 25 left.
Vietnam 595, contact the circle 121.9, good day, xin chào.
121.9, 595, ciao. And good evening, Vietnam Airlines 595, crossing 25 left.
Good evening, this is ground, with 08, Victor, 05, and 22.
Sierra 8, Victor, Sierra 5, stand 22, Vietnam Airlines 595. Okay, so initially we're going to turn left. Then Victor is going to be the second taxiway on the left-hand side there. Okay, Sierra 8. Then Victor is what we're going on next. Sierra 5, stand 22, that is the domestic passenger terminal. Interesting, but anyway, if they want us there, they want us there. So yeah, interesting landing. I guess that falls under the PEEP happens category. No, the flare logic in this plane is... I don't know. It just doesn't seem to have a ground effect at the moment. But that's fine for me. It's the fun of flying. Okay, so we're over here now, and then we go straight ahead to just in front of the terminal, and then off to the right-hand side. Very nice. So, down at 36, that means we've got to hurry a little bit, because I announced the other stream for 45, but we're gonna make it. Just about, but we're gonna make it. It's gonna be a little bit less of a break than I initially thought, though. I wonder why we still have the autopilot disconnect button. I guess it's probably just a different button assignment here. Yeah, now it's going away. I don't know. Some strange button assignment. We're gonna survive it. Starting APU. So, you see that aircraft over there? That is pretty much where we are gonna go as well. And number 22, let's get GSX ready. Don't need to follow me, we know where we are going. Code Gaming, good morning from Arkansas, my friend. How much have I missed? You missed an exciting delay vector. Apart from that, it was a really interesting flight. Certainly in an area that I am very rarely flying in, so that was something very interesting here. Reduce speed at 10 knots, and over we go onto Sierra 5.
Evening ground to Vietnam 594, rocket runway 25 left, we are on Sierra 8.
Okay, now stand 22. Well, we just about follow the numbers, but it's at the end of the terminal. That is what I can say already. And Force 59 is a follow me car used in real life. I don't know about this airport, but at most airports you are going to get to follow me, yes.
3 or 4 by 5, could you please say again? Vietnam 594.
Okay, so weather radar is off. And 20, so we go a little bit further straight. Then we're parking at the end.
Sierra 8, Victor, Yankee 7, Yankee,
so that's 22 over there.
100, Vietnam 594.
And here we go, stand number 22. Interesting way to park a jetway over there. That ramp agent is nicely hidden there. Okay. Well, I just have to park it myself then.
312, taxi Victor 01, hold short 25 left.
I suppose this is gonna do. They aren't gonna taxi anybody behind us anyway. Okay, APU running. Put down. Get off the ATC frequency. And here we are. So, transponder off. Squawk 2000. And the engines are off. Beacon. Hydraulic. Fuel. Perfect. Shutdown checklist. Landing light switches. Off. Taxi light switch off. Throttles idle. Park and brake. Set. Seatbelt selector. Off. Anti-ice. Auto. Fuel flow. Cut off. Beacon. Off. Shutdown checklist complete. Okay everyone, thank you very much for flying. I sure hope that you have enjoyed this one. Surely that was a little bit different from what we normally do. Now, I'm going to head over into the second live stream there, flying Greek island hopping with the ATR-72. If that sounds interesting for you, I would love to see you over there. And otherwise, in the meantime, thank you very much for joining, and I see you all again very soon. And very soon, in this case, probably means in a couple minutes time. So, time to head over into the ATR. And then I see you all on the second live stream. For now, thank you for watching. You can find the link right on my channel. I would love to see you there. And then I